Good evening. Good evening. As I blast out your eardrums. It looks red on our side, but hopefully it's not too loud. I'll hold it a little further away this time. Welcome to the Cantina Carpool Podcast. This is our episode number 2, where this time we're going to be talking about more things related to modifications to vehicles, anything with an engine, cars we've had, cars we want. And we may or may not even have some debates about the EV market. If you guys weren't with us for the first episode, again, we are Cantina Carpool Podcast. We are a live Twitch podcast, so please follow us on Twitch if you haven't already. But we also post our videos on YouTube afterwards, so go give us a follow over there as well. I am not doing this alone. I do have some co-hosts. Did I introduce myself? I think I totally forgot my name. I'm Colin. I am your host for the day. I do have some co-hosts. Guys?
Hey, everybody. I'm Sam.
I'm Brad.
All right. We'll get smoother at this.
Glad to have everybody here.
Yeah.
Looks like we got four people right now.
That's awesome.
Starting out strong.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. This time, we did not have any audio issues, and we were able to start at 7:01.
Yeah, that was great.
We
weren't late.
We'll probably still never be on
late,
time, but we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Chat, if you want to stay engaged through the episode, let's talk about some car stuff. You ever have any weird car things happen? Did your car break down? Something stupid happen? Did you hit something? Did you hit someone? Leave something in the comments. So
but more importantly, did you ever make a modification when you were in high school that you will never do again, and that you have to explain to the rest of the world now?
Yes, yeah. Are there any stories about vehicle modifications or anything with an engine? Really, is where we're going with this. Also, yeah, send in your questions, your opinions. If you have any talking points you want us to hit on, we're all ears. Would you rather questions? Hey, you got a hot take on something? Give us your hot take and we'll agree with you or not agree with you. Let's see where that goes. But all right, what's first?
We also have a cool wheel. When we get followers, why don't you place the wheel over there by the...
Yeah, I should have explained this from the get-go. I think I did a much better job of that last time.
To the left, so it doesn't show up the sign. There you go.
Like that?
So it doesn't... Yeah, it's not...
Oh, yeah, we don't want it to block the sign.
There we go.
There we go. Perfect. So we have this wheel. It's not really called the spicy wheel or the spicy spinner anymore this time because we had...
It's a little different.
We had... here, I'll hold this guy up here. We had challenges on the last episode because we were eating spicy chicken sandwiches, so it was the spicy spinner. We had things like hot shot and take a shot and weird things relating to kind of spicy things. But this time, seeing as we have more of an automotive related thing, we don't really have anything too automotive to put on there, so we got more general ones, and I don't want to give them all away right off the bat, but we'll see what we get. But the point of this is that we have a live count of our followers on Twitch. For every new follow we get, it's a new wheel spin, and we'll take turns taking those spins. So tell your friends, tell your mothers, follow us on Twitch. That's how we get the wheel spins.
So follow us.
And already we got some situations coming in.
Comments. What is this? Collapse.
I figured out today that I think my car is ghost walking, but I don't really understand what it means. But it seems like it's fishtailing on snowy roads even at 30 miles an hour. I've heard of this.
I have not.
They call it trailing.
Okay.
Trailing trailing. So if your frame or your alignment, probably in Kelly's case, probably more so the alignment. I don't think anything's wrong with your frame. Your front wheels are... Camera, come to me. You got your front wheels here, and you're driving straight. and then you got your rear wheels just a little bit off to the side, that way or that way. So as you're moving, you get the sensation, especially on snow, if you're driving a little sideways.
This sounds like your good old-fashioned Ford problem.
Oh.
If you've ever driven behind a Ford, like an F-250, 350...
Okay.
They look like they're driving side.
Yeah.
Only yours. No, so they look like they're driving sideways down the highway. Ford doesn't know how to do an alignment, so they get the axles incorrect, and they look like they're sidestepping, like they're crab walking down the highway. So you're gonna look for it now behind every Ford pickup truck you're driving behind.
I guess I will down.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Dodges will get it too, but only after about a year when they rust out.
I know for a fact that on like older 4-wheel drive vehicles, you had what looked to be this, but it was actually that the front axle was, I don't know, a little bit longer, or because you had the lockers for 4-wheel drive, the front wheels poked out ever so slightly more. So when you're looking down the vehicle, it's like, oh, wow, that front wheel is completely out of alignment. It sticks out more. But then you go to the other side and, oh, that's doing the same thing. So really it's even. I have seen that.
I've probably seen it and not known about it.
The Redditors. She got advice from Reddit.
Oh.
Mistake, or is that good? There's a bar that may be off. I wouldn't think a sway bar would do that. Sway bar is more for your... I don't know what word I'm looking for.
This is for suspension.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't
prevent too much rocking and rolling.
Oh, sorry, Kelly. I thought you knew everything about cars.
Maybe
we should take that answer back.
I'd say Reddit is a good place to go to get some initial...
Oh, it actually works this time. That's a follow.
We got to follow.
Oh, or a first time chat. I guess they're the same. They're the same noise. God, that was really loud on our side. Hopefully,
first time chat. Oh, so it wasn't a follow, just a first time
chat.
chat.
No, it's just a first time chat. Yeah, check the follow.
Oh yeah, we're still at 16 followers.
I may have felt that in my Ford, #tagged Ford, but maybe I'm just a bad driver. I don't know. I think in the great Midwest where we are, actually, it happened to me today, where if you're driving over snow or ice and it kind of kicks out on you, like, that's just the way it works. I was on the highway going to work, and all of a sudden the back end, like, kind of kicks out a little bit. Totally took me off guard. I was not expecting it at all, but it's kind of like one of those...
But you probably smiled a little bit, and you hung her in, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did. You had to give her...
Steer into it a little bit, yeah. Rip the brake. No, it was a little bit of a pucker moment, but it was so minuscule to the point where it caught me off guard. But at the same time, like, it wasn't a big deal. I wasn't going anywhere.
But there was snow on the road.
Yeah, it was a bridge. Did I neglect to say it was a bridge that I went over?
Yeah.
So it was just a bridge.
So you had an obstacle.
Bridges do freeze. By the way, bridges do freeze first before the road does. So.
That's right.
Be careful going over bridges.
I'm here to learn. Oh, you're going to learn something during this episode.
Might not be what you want to learn.
It might not be what you're interested in, but keep sending in those comments. That's great. I see Clay is with us as well. Hello, sir.
All right, so Colin, you drive a truck.
I do.
What are you driving?
So my personal truck is a little single cab 2008 Dodge Ram, but my work truck is an extended cab Ford F-150.
Better of the two.
Oh, I like the Ford a lot more, but that's only probably because the Ford is a 2022, 2023. So that's my work truck. Obviously, it's newer. It's got the bells and whistles. The '08 Ram is it's raw. There's power, nothing. It's window cranks. You got to pull the little pin if you want to unlock the door. The key is just a key. There's no remote. You got to get in the door and unlock the door manually every time. And I only have one key, so I actually locked myself out of it once.
Nice job.
Good. Did you have to call someone to let you in?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we should...
Did you save that number?
That's yeah. It's called my insurance company.
Nice. Maybe we should discuss how many times we've locked ourselves out of our vehicles.
Ooh.
What'd you do about it, too?
Yeah, I mean, I've probably locked myself out, I'd say about 4 times out of my
Four
vehicle.
times?
Yeah.
4 times?
Yeah.
Same car?
No, different cars.
Okay.
The first time that I remember was I was delivering pizzas, because I worked for Pizza Hut at the time.
Okay.
Delivering pizzas. I was, got stopped at a house, got out, and did my delivery, came back to my car, still running, and I couldn't get in. It was locked.
While
I must have accidentally hit the manual... I must have hit the manual lever button or whatever on my door as I exited and didn't realize it. And I got back and I was locked out. And it was a crazy moment. And then I ended up calling the local police department, and they were able to come and do the airbag trick and everything. And they were able to get in.
They stole your car for you, basically?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
That was pretty good. That was my first time. The other times I've...
That was my first time.
That was my first time.
Well, we got to get experience in
Yeah.
life, you know?
Oh, he's got experience, all right, with 4.
Yeah. And then I think one of them was... it wasn't my own, but ended up calling AAA, and they were able to get in it.
Okay.
And then another time was... actually coming to a party at your house... Or no, at your
I think I remember
cabin or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was putting stuff in. I just put the cookies in the car and everything. I was getting stuff in there, and then I don't know how it happened, but I locked my keys in the vehicle, and yeah, that
running,
was,
cookies melting.
Yeah, cookies melting.
It was a pretty hot day too, right?
Yeah, it was. And that was in the, I think that was in the Corvette too.
Okay.
Yep. So, and then I hired a locksmith to come out and try to get in it, and the dude could just not get in it.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, he couldn't get in.
Good luck.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I ended up having to go to the dealership, because this was on the weekend. I had to go to the dealership on that next Monday, and they had to make a key for me.
Yeah.
To get in. So yeah, fun times.
Did the car run out of gas? How did that work?
No, the car was never on.
Oh, okay. I thought you
when
said
I was
it
delivering
running.
pizzas, the car was on. Yeah, so I was freaking out because the car was on.
Yeah.
And yeah, thankfully it was 20 minutes. It was actually really quick.
Sure.
Yeah. What about you guys? Have you locked yourself out of the car?
Yeah.
Your keys in the car?
Ooh, So I personally have not locked myself out of one of my own cars yet. That day is coming. But actually, it's probably going to be in the vehicle that I now own. But I have been locked out of vehicles with my parents. And every time they've been locked out, OnStar's unlocked the car for them.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately for me, my old 08 does not have any smart features like that. Also, it's a Dodge, so I think OnStar is more of a GM thing, right?
In that area,
Yeah.
And I had OnStar on my Corvette, by the way, but they canceled their service back in 2018 or something like that. So I was never. It didn't even matter.
I'm not sure if they'll still do it for a fee. If you can start a service and then have your
I might have
car
been
unlocked.
able to do that. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to
That
ask
would've been
my mom
quicker.
because my mom was one of the folks that they brought in to start the company, OnStar.
Oh, really?
And so yeah, when OnStar started up, my mom had been brought in to help run call center stuff, and she was heavily tied into that. But I don't know. That was when I was a kid. I don't know any more than that. That's my whole story on the OnStar thing. But they did unlock me once, so I think they can do it.
That's good. Okay.
You would think, and that in your case, that would have been quicker if they would have. They
would've.
could have started a new.
It probably would have been
subscription.
more expensive though, because
Yeah.
I think the key I got from the GM dealership was less than $30 or something.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
pretty good.
Yeah, don't start OnStar for that.
Yeah.
You would have never used it again.
My Mustang key, after they had to program the fob, was $250.
Ooh. Ouch.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Yeah, that actually isn't too crazy because of that incident, I ended up going to my brother who owns a shop, and he got a new key for me.
Okay.
And I think it was a little over $200. So.
Wow. Even with him helping you out.
Everything. Yeah, even with
that's
all that.
Crazy.
So yeah.
I don't quite understand. It must just be like labor time, and they must have a standard. I don't know.
Well, because it's not going to work the first time. So you got to do it the second time, and then that's probably not going to work. So then you do it a third time.
Yeah.
And then you're 6 hours into it and 3 YouTube videos deep, and then you get the key program, but it doesn't do all the doors.
You're paying for this. You're paying for this guy's guess and check.
Yeah. You're paying for the failure.
His process. He's got to run through his checklist from big.
So I'm currently driving a 2011 Chevy Equinox that originally was my grandfather's car. So he had bought it brand new, and it was his prized possession or whatever. But he was pretty elderly when he bought it, so he didn't put a lot of miles on it. Yeah. And then it sat in the garage for a long time. Then he moved to a retirement home and brought it there with him, and it just sat. And then he decided that he was going to stop driving. Thank God for all of us. Decided he was going to stop driving. Oh, no, he wouldn't have passed the test about 10 years before.
Okay.
And then decided he was going to stop driving so that we could all survive on the road. And then gave the car to my twin brother. And so my wife and I drove the car out to him in Seattle, Washington, from where we live in Wisconsin. And so he had it there, and at the time it had like maybe 50,000 miles on it from 2011, right? Anyway, so he brought it to Texas with him, and then he crashed it up a couple times, and then needed some body panels put on, doors all mashed in, and he's like, I'm just gonna get rid of it. So my wife and I are like, all right, fine, we'll take it if you're gonna just throw it away. It's more value to me as a commuter car, and then we'll fix it up and I'll commute with it, right? So anyways, put a new door on it and some fenders and stuff. But one of the issues I've run into it with it is, so I went to go to work one day and I turned the key and or I went to turn the key off when I got to work, and I put it in my pocket, and it's one of the fold-up keys.
Oh, okay.
And it broke off. So I didn't know if it broke off in the ignition or like somewhere else, but I pulled it when I went to leave for the day. I pulled the key out and went to flip it up, and nothing flipped up.
Oh, that's scary.
So I was like, oh no.
Panic.
So I'm looking at the ignition like, oh crap, I got a key stuck in here, because there's like the safety device in there and stuff, and it looks like the key's stuck in there.
Oh,
so I think I have the key stuck in the ignition. So I'm trying to use like a flathead screwdriver to turn it.
Oh my god!
And then all this crap, and they got safeties built in to the key that it has to see the chip.
To steal it.
Yeah, it has to see the chip in the key fob in order to like allow it to release or whatever. Anyways, for like $15 on Amazon, you can buy a new key tumbler. You stick a paper clip in the top, and the whole key pops out, and you can put a brand new tumbler in the car and then drive away with it.
Okay.
But the problem is the key fob doesn't work then. So the key fob part, it has to see the original key fob, and then it has like there's a sequence you can do, and it'll reprogram the key fob for you.
Okay.
So I never got that to work. So I was driving around in this car with one key working. After I figured out that the key wasn't stuck in the ignition, it had actually fallen out somewhere. And then I was driving around in this car without any of the electronic locks working or anything like that. And then because I'd replaced the driver's side door, the key didn't match the driver's side door either.
Yep.
So now I have no way to get in. And I have no power locks, and I have so every day I'm going to work, it's like my fingers are crossed, right? It's like, okay, if I just don't hit the lock button, then and if I just don't accidentally hit the lock button, then I'm gonna be able to open the door when I get out. So I started with like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'll leave the window open, because then if I at least just leave the window open, I can reach and pick it out, right? Yeah. And then it got too cold, so then it's like, okay, I'm going to leave the window closed. but I'm going to make sure it's unlocked before I get out. So I did that for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 months.
Wow.
And eventually, the key fob like reconnected with the car. I did the right sequence of events by accident, and it reconnected, and now everything works. I have remote start now. I have unlock. I have lock. It's like a dream come true.
It's like a brand new car.
So I feel like I'm driving around in a piece of luxury now because I have power locks.
That's awesome.
Because I was humbled by not even being able to start the car at one point. But yeah, so you just got to take your luxuries away for a while. Your truck probably feels like a luxurious item when you get in the work truck.
The work truck, I can't get enough of it. Then nights like tonight where we went out to dinner before this, driving my personal truck, and it's like, oh man, this thing is just like bare bones. Nothing's going on. But, so for that very reason, I had my one and only lockout story. I don't know how many dead batteries I've had, and just piss poor luck with batteries I've had. But this is probably the only time where I actually locked myself out. And it's just a helpless feeling. So I forget where I was going, but I loaded something up. Oh god, yeah, I guess it's irrelevant where I was going, but I loaded something up in the passenger seat, and because it's all manual locks, unlock the passenger door, open it up, put my thing on the seat, and I do this thing where I know that it doesn't that doesn't have power locks, so if I lock the door now, I don't have to lock it later. I lock the door. Oh, I gotta back up. Wow, I'm so good at storytelling. So
I can tell.
The crucial part of this story is that with my key, I reach over, start up the truck. Oh, let's get it warmed up here. Set the thing on the passenger seat. Lock the door. Oh, don't have to do that later. And as I pushed the door closed, I thought, fuck.
You knew.
I knew instantly. I forgot to unlock the fucking driver's side door first. Huh. Okay. Well, truck's running. It's got plenty of gas. It's going to keep running. It's locked. That was my only key. I don't have a spare for that. Now's about the time where I think, oh, I should get a spare for that truck.
The worst part to think about it
is you have to go through the thought process of which window would I rather replace.
Yeah.
Like that's the worst part about it. It's like which of these could I actually live without for a while?
Which
too?
window looks the least expensive?
Yeah.
None of them. They all look expensive. Yeah. Have you seen the price of glass lately? It sucks.
That's crazy.
Anyway, so I think right away I get online. I'm looking like locksmith. Like fuck, I don't know, locksmith. I guess found a company. It's like it's got a cheesy name like Unlock It or something like that, and it's like an Uber for locksmiths or something, like where you can just put in your information and somebody in this county is a locksmith on this app and they can come and unlock your car. Mm-hmm. Got somebody signed up. Bite the bullet and pay the $100 to have somebody come out. Okay, whatever. I gotta do it because there's no other way in the truck. I don't feel like breaking the glass. And I'm waiting. Wait about a half hour. Your service rep will be there in 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, it's been a half hour. Then I get a text message. Thinking it's going to be an update. Yeah, it's an update, but they're now telling me that it's going to be another hour. Okay, well, I don't want to wait the extra hour, but I really have no choice. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And then out of nowhere, they cancel it. They cancel it. You're like, yeah, I don't know. There's nobody available in your area.
Cash check and cancel it probably, yeah.
Yeah, they refunded
me. A service fee for processing.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah. We'll refund you since we weren't able to help you.
But not the processing fee.
Bitch, that doesn't help. I'm still locked out of my car. What do I do?
All right, so let me ask you this. Would you go underneath and just pinch the fuel line off or attempt to pinch the fuel line off to get it to shut down, or do you just let it run out of gas and idle for 6.5 days?
I probably, in that mindset, I think I was ready to just let it run. I mean, I was like in my mind, I'm thinking, well, somebody's going to pick up the phone. Somebody's going to come out here and help me.
Yeah.
I wasn't really too concerned about leaving it run until it ran out of gas. I was just more pissed that it was burning gas that I had just put in it. So I was like, okay, well, fuck, what do I do now? Then I remembered on my insurance app, I have Allstate, and you can go to a section where it's like a rescue me thing. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm locked out, whatever.
They put it on a flatbed running right into the shop.
So I was like, oh, fuck, I don't know what this entails, but whatever. I sign up. It's the same thing. It's like $100 $95 this time, I think it was. Oh, what a deal. I'm saving money. And okay, we've dispatched somebody. Well, I'm sure you have. I heard that before. This is going to be a long day. I was not in the mood. Sure enough, they actually dispatched somebody, and it was from just a local towing company. So here I'm sat here thinking, why didn't I just... now I know for next time. Hopefully there's not a next time. But if there is a next time, I can just call that company directly, and hopefully their price is cheaper. I don't know. But the guy comes out. He's the jolliest guy I've ever met. He's just, oh, yeah, this happens all the time. Him and I were just yucking it up.
Was his name Steve, Bill, Joe, Bob?
At least 2 of those.
Yeah. First name Steve, last name Bill.
Hey, I'm Steve Bob Michaels.
Yeah, so the locksmith I got to come out was the same thing as what you had. So some guy who just like tries to break into cars essentially. Was a true locksmith.
I'm gonna start calling locksmiths on you. Yeah. I'm gonna just pay him the $100 and then film it in the bushes. Like,
yeah. Oh, he did it again.
You got me in my Mustang.
Yeah.
In their agreement or whatever that I signed, it said if they don't, or if they're not able to get into my vehicle, that they don't charge me. Oh, and so the guy was there for like an hour and a half.
Yeah. Trying
to get into the car and whatever, and he couldn't get in, but then they still charged me. Really? And so I had to call the company back up and be like, "Hey, you guys never got in. Like, why are you charging me?"
You guy failed at
They
this.
eventually gave me my money back, but
that's good. Well, and for my case, he's just able to use the little tight airbag that they put in there and keep pumping the sucker until he has enough space to like stick his wand down in there.
Yeah.
But for your case, like with your motorized window, do you have a motorized window like my Mustang has, where it's like you close the door and it like seals up the rest of the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you open the door, it actually drops down about like a quarter to half an inch.
Yeah.
And then you're able to open the door. Mm-hmm. And then when you close the door, then the window comes back up a little bit to seal it.
Makes a tight seal.
So that is one of the more like uncomfortable feelings of getting out of a vehicle, I think, out there is the like frameless window thing. Mm-hmm. Every vehicle I get in that has that frameless window where it like drops the window down before it actually opens the door, it's like, okay, but what if it doesn't?
Yeah.
But what if it doesn't, right?
If the battery's dead, it won't. And I've seen it before. It's not pretty, but it still does let you close the door. It's just now the window is like on top of the seal rather than under it and then going up into it.
I've had I think a couple of times where I've pressed the button to open the door and it actually opened the door before the window came down or something like that.
Yeah.
So I like felt a lot of resistance from the window up there being held in tight. But
which is what you want in your sports car.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Problems.
So I want to feel like I'm breaking the glass on my window.
Oh, that's the worst. All right.
Either way, I don't mind it too much having that type of window though.
All right, so you drive a Corvette.
I have a Corvette, and an F-150. So those are my vehicles. What about you?
So, all right, what I have and what I want are different things, obviously.
Of course.
So my daily driver, my daily driver these days is a 2011 Chevy Equinox with a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder front-wheel drive only in silver. That is the single most incognito car you can drive.
You make it sound like a very sexy
It
car.
might as well be a Nissan Altima from a rental car company, all right?
Dime a dozen.
Which my wife had prior to her current vehicle, but we've managed to get through that. So we called it Sarah. Sorry, Sarahs. But there's a lot of Sarahs out there. So the Nissan Altima is the Sarah. All right, so that is my daily driver. It's currently humbling me, but
now that you have power doors.
But when you don't pay for it and it just happens to find its way into your driveway and you have to put a little door on it and maybe a fender and you do some rattle can spray paint jobs to it to make it a daily unit, you run it, and you're not happy about it, but you run it. No, but the car that I like that's actually my car is I have a Nissan Titan with a diesel in it from 2016.
Oh, nice.
And it's been an interesting decision for me. So I came from the Detroit area, right? So American cars are what you drive.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
My grandfather worked for GM. My mom worked for GM. My sister works for GM. You know, like my dad painted cars on the line for Ford in college. Like you drive American
Motor
cars.
City, yeah.
Motor City cars, right? And I even get all the GM discounts and stuff. And
nice.
I've had GM cars.
You get the GM discount, but you got the entire GM for free, the one that you own.
Bingo. Secondhand. I got the discount through my grandfather, through my brother, who came to me and gave it to me after he wrecked it so that I could drive it for free. All
Diminishing
right?
expenses.
It's a hamdy-down, if you will. So, no, I have a Nissan Titan, which is basically sacrilege in my family, but...
that one has the Cummins, right?
It's got a Cummins in it. Yeah. It's a
nice.
weird combination of parts and events that have created this contraption that they call a truck, but it's okay. If I bought it new, like brand spanking new, I'd be pissed because it was like $63,000 when it was new in late 2015, calling it a 2016 model.
Sure.
Right? But I didn't buy it in 2015, calling it a 2016
you waited
model.
For the...
I got it like with 15,000 miles on it in late 2016 for like half off.
Yep.
So someone took a bath on this thing.
Somebody
right?
took a beating.
Like absolutely got destroyed on this thing, and then I bought it for like $35,000 in late 2016 and
pretty good deal.
For $35,000, it's been an okay truck.
Yeah.
I went to the store to buy a Silverado, but for $10,000 less and twice the warranty, I came home with a diesel Nissan.
Sure. Yeah.
Right, with more American parts in it. I hate to say it, but it's got more American parts in it than any of the Silverados I ever had before that.
Yep.
So I got over my pride. I just ignore the badge on the front and I drive my Nissan Titan. But I gotta admit, it's been okay. It's been more reliable than my Silverados I had, which is just pains me to say because I'm kind of a GM guy. I like my GM stuff with the exception of what I've bought in life, but. Yeah, so that's what I'm driving. But my wife did it right. She picked up a Volkswagen Alltrack in 2017, and then we have just both adored that car.
Yeah,
it's a black Volkswagen Alltrack with like the gray trim.
It's a wagon.
Yeah, it's definitely a Golf wagon, right? Mm-hmm. Like it is. Well, it would have been a Passat, but Volkswagen had some issues, so now they're calling it a Golf. But
dodge some legal questions.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
So, but that Alltrack has been awesome. It's all-wheel drive, and it's a beast in the snow. Like that's the most fun vehicle to drive in the snow I've ever been in, and the thing is just it's comfortable to road trip in. It's got a nice little interior in it. I'm not gonna say it's the highest end thing ever made, but they did a couple things right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like they did this little accent lighting in the doors, right? Yeah, and they didn't have to do that, but they did, and it just makes it's like jewelry on top, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, you don't need carbon fiber in your daily family wagon, but they put a couple little touches in, right? Just to say they
carbon
could.
fiber, or do you think it's
it's not actual carbon fiber, but it looks like it, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
And it may have a transmission that's made of glass because it's on its second transmission after Volkswagen replaced the first one. But we adore that little car. And it's got like 100, I don't know, it's getting close to 150,000 miles now, but that little thing is amazing. And she tells me every day, she goes, I don't want to lose that car. I just want that car again. And they don't make it anymore, at least here in the States. No. So it's like, what do we do next? What do we do next, right? Because that car's coming to its end at some point, right?
You get another Equinox.
No, you don't. You don't. Unless you inherit it. If you inherit an Equinox, it's okay. To go buy one, ooh, different story.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about my F-150, but they still make F-150s.
They still make F-150s.
But they don't make my F-150.
Yeah.
I have...
So how old is it?
It's a 2015.
All right, so it's old enough to have character on it.
Yeah, so I wanted the aluminum panels.
All right.
So I had to get at least 2015. Found the 2015. I think I got it for about around $29,000. And it's been an amazing truck. I have over 170,000 miles on it.
What engine?
It has the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6.
All right, you're getting up there on one of those.
Yep.
Oh,
and I have heard from some people that the turbos like to go on them, but mine have been fine. And other than basic maintenance, the only thing I've done to it is replace the throttle body.
That's nothing.
That's it.
That's nothing. I'll take
170,000 miles. And regular
That's pretty
maintenance,
good.
like tires, brakes,
Yeah.
air filter.
Oh, that's really good.
That's it. Oil changes.
There's this phrase out there in the car community. It's the best car you'll ever drive is the worst car you'll ever drive, right? Like, so the Miata is a classic example of this,
Ooh.
right? The Miata is a terrible car from the factory as like an idea. You're like,
Okay.
oh, I'm gonna make this two-door little car, and it's like, okay, but how much horsepower are you gonna put it? Like 1 billion, right? Nope, like 90. You're gonna get 90 horsepower. Okay, is it gonna be light? It's gonna be kind of light. Is it gonna be good? Sorta.
Put a moped. Yeah. What's the engine they use in the moped? Yeah, put that in
Put
there.
that in it. What's your target clientele? Hairdressers. Hairdressers
Yeah.
are going to be our target clientele.
Hairdressers
All
and
right.
old folks with gray hair.
So it's going to be aggressive. It's going to be low to the ground. It's going to be sporty. No,
And
it's going to have a smile.
Yeah,
It's going to be
give
the
it
only
a
car
smile.
out there with a smile.
And then it turns out to be owned by middle-aged men who autocross.
Yep.
There you go. Yep.
Yep. That and the Mini Cooper. The
Yes.
Mini Cooper and the Miata are autocrossing middle-aged men
Oh yeah.
with that probably didn't do what they really should have done in high school, which is go buy some ridiculously sporty car that they financed to the hill, but
Yep.
yep. And the Miata has to be rattle can paint job like 20 times over again.
Of course.
Have to have it.
Or
You
just,
have to have
or
it.
just wrapped in an obnoxious color.
Or at one point you considered decorating the car with just stickers.
Sticker bombing.
Sticker bomb the
Sticker
whole
bomb.
thing because you ran out of options for the rattle can paint
Yeah.
job. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Comment from Clay. Coworker couldn't believe that the Midwest natives just start their car and leave it running for a while just to get it toasty in the winter.
Have to have it.
Yeah,
It
ever
is not
since
a
that
I've,
must
taboo.
do.
yeah, you got to have the remote start.
I don't
It's a
have
game
remote
chan-
start.
It's a game changer.
I'm sure it's a game
love it.
changer, but I don't know.
All right, so I will say this about the remote start and the Midwest thing is we all think by remote starting our vehicles and we're going out there and starting them early that it'll be warm when you get in it.
No.
Not in
Well,
a million years will your
Depends
car
on how long
actually
you let it run.
You'd have to hit so they time out after a while if you have a factory installed
Yeah.
unit.
Yeah.
Usually 15 minutes.
Yeah. After 15 minutes of your car idling, it's not going to be up to temperature to actually get heat in the thing.
No.
If you have heated seats, you'll be lucky if it's lukewarm when you sit down.
If it's barely thawed.
I
Your
got
steering wheel is still an icicle.
Yeah.
my heating seats are actually pretty good. Like seriously,
yeah.
2 minutes and they're
Oh, yeah.
fired
Right.
up. They're going.
Yeah. I think it also helps if you're sitting in them. Like
You have, yeah.
Now
I think
they're
that's,
insulated.
that's mandatory.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know that like after 2 minutes, my ass is on fire and I gotta
Yes.
turn it down.
That's a feature.
bun warmers, bun toasters. Honestly, like if I use heated seats at all, when I start to feel them kick in, I'll turn them off immediately, because that's good enough. Like I don't want swamp ass while I'm driving.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'm glad mine has like 3 different settings.
Sure.
So like low, medium, high. So
That's a good point. You know what's funny about that? Is I always turn it on the highest
Yeah,
setting,
you do.
and I
Yeah, you
never
do.
turn it on low. Like I want it to be hot, and I want it to be hot right now. Oh, this is fucking too hot. Turn it off. No.
It's like a thermostat. You
Yeah.
go all the way high. If you have a dial. If you have
Yeah,
a dial.
right,
if
right.
you have to like deal with the digital crap, then you're like, but I'm a 72 guy today.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
then-
would like my ass to be 71 degrees.
But the with a thermostat dial, you're all the way hot or you're all the way cold. There is no in between. You can try, but you're still playing the game back and forth. At least right off the bat.
What I ought to do is turn it on full blast, and then when I feel it kick in, just like immediately turn it down to the number 1 setting and see if that like
Can't have
holds the temp. You don't think so?
No, you got
It's all or nothing?
you've already established your process. You're
That's-
way too late
That's
in
what my
life.
brain says. It's
You're
all or nothing.
way too late in life to go changing things now. You're
it
in
requires
it
an
already.
engineering change order.
Yeah, I'm gonna
No,
need a
can't
change
have
order
it.
for this.
Can't have it. There's too many approvals you're gonna
File
need
that
to do that.
ECO. It's gonna take 2
I
years.
don't like toasty buns. I like slightly toasted buns.
Well, I think we've gone over our vehicles, Colin. What are your vehicles?
Heat seaters. Did I say heat seaters, or is that just a comment? I tend to fuck up my words sometimes, so maybe I said that. Heat seaters. Kind of like saying sleep. Oh shit! Now I can't say it incorrectly because I want to say it correctly. Sofa sleepers. If you go to a hotel and it's got a sofa sleeper instead of a sofa sleeper. I found myself saying that a lot. That's totally unrelated. Never mind. Never mind. Just me? Okay.
Just you.
Pretty much.
Never
Pretty
mind.
much.
I drive, so I have too many engines, according to the fiance.
Nope. Success is measured by cylinder count.
Thank you. We got cylinders.
The
in
more
this
cylinder count you have, the more successful in life you are.
If my beautiful fiance is watching, you're just gonna have to turn a blind eye here because the boys have my back. They know that I need more vehicles here, but I do have the 2 trucks that I was talking about. The 2023, I think it is, Ford F-150 is my work truck. It looks like a banner. It's because it's got my company on it.
You are an advertisement.
Yeah.
You're a driving advertisement.
Yeah. If you roll down our street here, you're like, oh yeah, that house really.
I've been passing you on the way to work a time or two in the Chevy Equinox that you'll never see because it's silver and blends in with every other vehicle on the road.
I would never know the difference.
I think I could commit about 25 felonies before someone would even realize that there's anybody even in a car.
You think that's what O.J. Simpson thought when he was rolling down the highway, like, white Bronco, nobody'll see this.
So when I was in high school, I had a Ford Explorer and I put a couple vinyl stickers like in the corners of the windows and stuff. I was a big skier and I snowboarded and stuff, so I put like these brand stickers, right? So I had like, I don't know, like Burton or something, and whatever, and
Ron John's
shop. Stuff like that, right? So I had a couple of the like classic skier vinyls and snowboarder vinyls in the corners of the windows, and what I realized is between that and like the aftermarket headlights and taillights and some of the other stuff I had on there, everybody knew my vehicle, right? Which was not an advantage. It was not an advantage. Sure. Everybody knew where I was at any given time.
Yep.
But now the 2011 Chevy Equinox is the most incognito vehicle. You could do anything in that car and get away with it.
Yeah. I'll tell you who can't get away with anything is me.
You and your is it a Ford Mustang?
I have a Ford Mustang. It's a 2017, so it's the facelifted new body design when they first changed it. Now they've come out with the fancier one even yet, and I don't know if I like that one as much. I think I like mine more.
Is it the S550?
Yeah, it's the S550 chassis. Yeah. So it's got the angry headlights, not the ones with the little backwards squinted eyelids, I guess I'd call them. Mm-hmm. So it looks more mean than the newer ones. Anyway, it's called Grabber Blue. It's like a baby blue almost. It's a racing blue, I guess I'll call it, to be a little bit more masculine.
It's Grabber Blue.
It's Grabber
really
Blue.
It
grabs your attention because it looks like a lightning strike going down the damn highway. So yeah, I can't. And it doesn't help that it's the only Grabber Blue S550 V8 in this county. So I can't get away with anything. So I drive very nicely with it.
I mean, you can be just cresting a hill like 2 miles away, and the cop will see you like a corner of his eye.
It's a bright blue.
I see that.
If you got your,
it is good to see though.
Internet tab open. Just look up Grabber Blue.
Absolutely
Mustang.
beautiful color
exactly
though.
What we're talking about.
It's a good-looking car. The problem is you can't commit any felonies without getting away with it.
No,
absolutely.
Without not getting away with it.
Yeah, no felonies for this guy.
Yeah.
No, we have not spun the wheel yet. We need some followers in order to do that.
Check the follower count.
Everybody get on your social media and share our page or something. Get the word out there. Help us out. While you're at it, follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. We got all the social medias, at least the main 3 or 4 here going. We got a TikTok. Although I don't know. For now. Yeah. Oh, that's a whole nother topic. We can get into that later. But, spread the word. If you wouldn't mind, we'd greatly appreciate it. We're trying to make something work here. Mm-hmm. We're doing this for fun, so we're not heartbroken either way. But we sure would like to get more of an audience, to get more chat going, get more get more involvement. What else do we got here?
We still have 16 followers. So if you are listening in and you don't have an account, you should make an account and follow so that we can spin that wheel over there.
Cantina Carpool Podcast hits Red Note. Why does that sound like a porn website?
Yeah, I actually heard about that the other day. As Red Note is a Chinese like video platform similar to TikTok.
Oh, really?
And everything is in Chinese.
Oh yeah, everybody's grabbing right now for that TikTok audience because we all need that gap in our lives filled with scrolling endless like shorts and reels.
Yeah, I mean, look at what happened to Vine. Vine was huge. Absolutely massive, and then it got shut down, or I don't know what happened to it exactly, but there was that gap there, and TikTok came along,
and TikTok existed, but TikTok was advertised as, oh, be cutesy and sing along in a lip-synced version of whatever song you want to paste on the video, and I think it was originally intended for short videos as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know that.
I think it used to be maxed out at 30 seconds.
Okay,
or so.
That would make sense.
And then now it's like
now it's just
3 to 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, you can have a half a movie on there.
Like half my feed is like movie clips.
That's where I get all my news.
That's where you get your
news comes from TikTok. We want reliable.
How are you going to stay informed after this week?
We want the reliable sources. Okay, we want to be straight to the source here.
Yes, absolutely. How are you going to stay informed after it shuts down?
I'm not going to be informed.
You're going to be closed off from the world.
I prefer it.
And actually, yeah, it does sound like a pretty good idea.
It sounds wonderful, doesn't it?
Ignorance is bliss.
Someone's going to come up to you at work and be like, have you heard about this wildfire thing? And you're going to be like, no, don't even tell me about it.
Wildfire?
That's some
haven't even heard about it.
There in chat.
Yeah.
What do we got going on?
Or Japanese.
Rest R.I.P. Vine.
Yeah, I miss Vine. Even to this day, I think it was significantly better than what TikTok is.
Oh, we have some chats that are not going through.
That's just that engineer in you not wanting change, Colin. No change for you.
How do you know there's not chats going through?
Well, so we got this interesting thing going on. There's some chats on the actual Twitch, but they're not showing up on our software.
Really?
Our OBS software, yeah.
What's showing up? Oh shit, we've been missing conversation?
Oh, no, it's just in a different color. My bad. Because Katie said, have we spun the wheel yet? But it's actually on there. Okay, my bad. I just want to make sure we're actually...
Okay, good. So it is correct.
Getting it correct.
So the names are in different colors on that other screen?
Yeah, they're in different colors. I don't know what it means. Are different colors maybe like followers or different colors?
No, they're just different users.
Oh, okay. That's interesting that they're different colors on different programs.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Either way, we want to go on to a different topic?
Sure. I want to know about vehicle mods.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
The meat and potatoes of it.
So, have you modded any of your vehicles over the years?
I have done.
We're gonna have
the goods and the bads. We're gonna need the goods and the bads. What's the
Sam? You only get 2 hours.
Also, another question. I wanted to elaborate on some of my questions of what's on the board here, but vehicle mods that you decided to do because you thought they'd be cool, and vehicle mods you've done out of like necessity because like something was failing or you had to rig something up to get by and you just lived with it. Or
are you talking about rigging it up, or are you talking about, well, I'm spending this money anyways, I might as well just go balls to the walls?
It counts. It all counts.
Whatever.
It all counts. Let's say
Sam's
it's
got the ultimate one for that.
because of failure, you've made some decisions that
because of failure.
Yeah.
I've certainly made some decisions.
When you're in there, I might as well just swap everything out. You know, some of that.
So
right?
I don't have any horror Well, I shouldn't say horror stories, but I don't have anything that I like came to seriously regret. You know, I think there's definitely people who mod their cars, especially when they're teenagers. And they do stuff to their car, and then they get older, and they're like, "Why the hell did I do that? That's stupid, disgusting, whatever."
Yeah.
I don't think I have any of those, thankfully. I've been very.
Must be nice.
I've been very precise, or I shouldn't say precise is probably not the right word.
Well thought out.
Yeah, all
tasteful. Tasteful
Yes,
mods.
tasteful.
Yeah, that's an opinion, but I've thought out what I've done. So I've really only modded. Well, I'll start out with the truck because that's an easy one. The truck really has the antenna, the bullet antenna, which you referenced,
Yes.
I think earlier today.
Good old 50 cal
Yeah,
round.
the 50 cal round as my my antenna, and then I did put a Kicker, I think is the company. I put in a sub and amp into it to get some better sound. It was my work vehicle. Traveled a lot, so I wanted to have a decent sound system, listen to music while I traveled, and so yeah, I did that. I sprayed the bed and put a tonneau cover on, and that's really all I've done to the truck. So not much.
Functional.
All right, you can.
Yeah.
It's very functional.
You can get away with that.
Yeah.
You can get away with that.
Yeah, and then if we go to the Corvettes, I had a C5. Now I have a C6. The C5 was... Okay, so both cars have been, like, daily driver type of cars.
Sure.
So there's still cars I drive on the street still and everything. But they've also kind of been dual purpose as well. So the C5 was the car that I got into autocross with. So
Ooh, all right.
I started with that car. It had the LS1. I left that alone. It's a great engine.
Is that a 6-liter?
5.7, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's respectable. But that thing, I think I had like over 150,000 miles on that car, and I beat the shit out of it. I beat the shit out of that car, and I could do whatever I wanted to it. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I really only did suspension stuff for that car.
For autocross,
So-
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can
So I
get
did
away
like
with
I did
tires and suspension.
Yep,
Yeah.
I got big fat wheels and tires. I went for a square setup. I got new sway bars. Put some fat sway bars in. New shocks. And then I also got it all corner balanced, weighted out,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I didn't go too crazy with that car, I don't think. I got a new shifter. I put in that
Oh yeah.
I put in that MGW shifter, and
Yeah.
then well, maybe a couple months later after that, I got a funny story to tell about that car.
He continued to beat the shit out of it.
I did. Yes, I had a wheel speed sensor go out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, because of the wheel speed sensor going, I think it was my front left. Either way, it doesn't matter. Because of that, the ABS doesn't work. So, one sensor goes out, ABS doesn't work anymore,
Yep.
right?
I've had that happen. Yep.
Why? I don't know. Anyway, I was like, okay, if I'm going to replace this, might as well, and if I beat the crap out of it, might as well get something good. So I got like the top of the line racing wheel hub that I didn't, you can't just get the sensor and replace it. You need the whole hub and everything. So I bought this real top of the line, like $330 hub or whatever.
Sure.
And then I get the part. I plan on replacing it sometime that weekend, but some friends and I were going out for a little drive, and we go out for a little drive, a little spirited driving, and I end up braking for a corner, and I have my friend in the car with me, and I'm braking, and all of a sudden I realize I can't turn at all, and I'm not braking as hard as I expect. I'm like, oh shit.
These are twisty roads too.
These are twisty. Like you can't really go more than like 50, 60, maybe top line 70 miles an hour around these, because it's all windy up and down, crazy like that. So I slam on the brakes. Don't have ABS because I didn't replace my part, and so I just skid in a straight line into this dirt bank on the side of the road, and my wheel ends up flying out, and then the car was totaled. So that was a rough moment.
It was a sad day.
It was a very sad day.
Yeah, just missed a tree.
Yeah, actually, I did. Missed a tree. Yeah, I was probably like
bring
a foot
up a sore subject, but it could have been much worse.
Yeah, I was about a foot away or so. But
yeah,
it was unfortunate, but these things happen. I obviously was, younger and less experienced, but I should have recognized that the ABS was not working and should have, maybe taken a little easier.
Sure.
But, I ended up getting the money from insurance, and then I went out and bought a C6.
Have to do it. You have to.
Got to get bigger and better.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the C6 is a whole nother story.
Yeah. So
what motor you got in your C6?
I have.
That's where the story begins.
All right, perfect.
That is where the story begins.
We're glad you asked.
I get the C6. It has a 6.2 liter, the LS3, and
good motor.
Yep, it's amazing engine. But I had a little problem with mine. About 4 or 5 months after I got mine, I started getting a misfire, and I looked into it, and then took the valve covers off, and there was a little silver in the oil. So there was a little metal in there. It was not a fun moment
That's tough.
to see that.
So did you put a new 6.2 in it?
Well, yeah, to put it plainly, yes, I did.
All right.
I was gonna try and sell the car. I was very upfront about there being an issue with the engine. Tried to sell it for a while, and then I got to the point where I was like, all right, if I don't sell it by a certain time, just fuck it. Let's just put a new engine in it. Why the hell not? So I saved up some money, and it got to that point. I couldn't sell it by that point, and I ended up buying a new engine for it. And it was the Chevy Crate engine. It was the LS3.
Yeah.
But it was the one with the different cam and valve springs. Okay, so it made a lot of extra power. And I was like, well, if I'm going to replace the engine, I might as well do some other things, since I'm going to be
while I'm in
stuff
there.
apart. Wow.
You have a good old fashioned.
While you have the car apart, yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
next thing you know, you got a couple turbos hanging out the hood, a couple drag radials on the back. Yeah,
I wish. But no, I didn't do that. Didn't go too crazy with it. I did new motor mounts. We did new exhaust. Colin helped me with wrapping the exhaust, and he also helped me with a lot of other things with the project. But yeah, we put a new engine in.
Did you do headers, or you did like true headers?
Long tube. Yep, long tube headers, the biggest I could find.
That were wrapped pretty good.
They were wrapped pretty good, and then I fucked it up because I left my gas cap off.
Courtney, if you're watching, we did a damn good job wrapping those headers.
Yeah, but Colin helped with a lot of stuff. Intake, the headers, motor mounts. We put in a new master and slave cylinders for the clutch. Put in a new clutch as well.
Yeah.
So with the GM Crate engine program, did you just do an engine and you had stock transmission still? Or did you do engine and transmission?
I still have stock transmission.
Okay, so it's a 6-speed then?
It is.
6-speed manual?
Yep, 6-speed manual.
Nice.
Yep, it's the way to go.
Yeah, it is.
At least in that generation.
Yeah.
And you worded it as if you just put in a new engine. But for our non-car people here, we literally had to split the car in half to
because that's a torque tube car.
Yes,
it is a torque tube.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so what you have to do for that...
I wonder if I can find a picture.
So it's not... It has subframes. So you have to... We put it on a lift. You take everything apart, wiring, bolts, blah, 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 blah. You actually drop the frame down on the lift, or... drop the frame down out of the body of the car, and the body's hanging up on the lift. So bodies, everything up there, the whole drivetrain comes out with the subframe. And that's on the floor. Get that on the floor, and then it's easier to work with. And then you can take the transmission off, which is in the rear of the car on the Corvettes, and then do whatever you need to do. But it is a job to get to that point. I think it took us. I think we worked on that car for a full 8 days to do everything.
I think you're right.
So it was a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah, I'm trying to find I know you posted a picture of it, so I'm just trying to find that.
And that was not like 8 days after work. That was 8 days of you wake up, go to the shop, work on the car all day, and then.
There were some days where it was after work, but there was something...
For you, it was.
Oh, okay.
Because you were coming after work.
You took off. Okay, that's... Yeah.
But I took off that whole week. And then, funnily enough, that was the exact week that COVID happened.
Here it is.
So
it almost did you a favor, but it didn't quite...
No, actually, I'm kind of pissed off.
Couldn't get parts and stuff?
No, I got everything I needed, but I'm pissed off because... If I were smart, I would have invested that money into the stock market, and I would have doubled my money because COVID happened.
Sure,
right.
But yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. You guys really got in there.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Got in there and a half.
All right, so
that's my mod
that's
story.
your mod stories. So Colin,
I bet you got some.
I got some terrible ones.
Yeah,
I got a lot of regretted ones.
This car was literally in half.
All right, Colin, you modded something.
I did mod a couple of things.
What's the worst? What's the worst mod that you did? Like,
worst mod.
Let's say you're a high schooler. You just got your car, right? You're a single guy, and you're like, you know, what the chicks would really dig is.
Oh yeah, there were so many chicks. Yeah,
that Acura man was just raking them in.
My first car. Oh, it's still on me. Sorry. My first car was a 1997 Acura TL, total grandpa car. But this thing was
the chicks dig it.
Oh yeah, all of them. It was actually a very clean car. It came from Ohio. My uncle helped me source it. Got it for a really good deal, and very clean car. I wish I could find that car again. I almost wish I would have never sold it, just because it was just a cool car to have, a 4-door car to have, and leather seats, heated seats. It had all the bells and whistles for '97, just great. But because it was a grandpa car, and I was 16, turning 17, and I was like, oh man, I was just jealous of like sports cars. I was like, I gotta put a muffler on this thing or something.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Well, then after talking to a bunch of people about my idea about that, they're like, please don't do that. That's not the car for that. Okay, so
rims are where you have to go next. Right. You have to put rims on it.
I absolutely hated the fact that I wasn't gonna modify this car, but looking back on it now, I'm very glad I didn't. But the one mod that I did do to that car,
LEDs under the seats.
LEDs under the seats. Yes. I had under dash lighting inside the car.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
Did you wire it in with a switch, or did you plug it into the cigarette lighter? Because
it was a full kit, so it plugged into the cigarette outlet. And then it had a little controller. You could stop it on the color that you wanted. You could flip the switch over to like.
Could it strobe to the music?
Yes, listen to the music. No. Okay, yeah, so that's what it was. Yeah. But the microphone on it was so shitty.
Oh, it was terrible, I'm sure.
I had to crank the music just for that to work. So I didn't do that. I left it usually on solid green, and it was just I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Still debatable if it's actually still cool. I'll be honest. Actually,
I'll stand by it. I'll stand by it as cool. As cool.
Yeah, I will too.
That was
I actually get. You know, I think we saw a friend's car recently that had like the little underglow under the car or whatever.
And you're probably like, nice.
And your car was like, I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's
I'm a little bit jealous.
So that probably means, because the three of us middle-aged dudes are in here talking about cars in front of the internet, that probably unanimously means that it's uncool.
Probably.
Yeah. I remember
to the rest of the world,
I remember
uncool,
showing
but
it
to
to
us,
a lot of people.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember showing it to a lot of people, and you usually got the cool, good, nice work.
Neat.
Yeah. Well, we grew up with the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah,
the original,
exactly.
and Too Fast and the Furious.
Nothing says Fast.
You
and
didn't
the Furious
shift
like
six
a sedan.
gear. You didn't shift 6 gear 25 times on the 30-mile runway.
Yeah, the car was automatic too, so I was like bumping it down into gear 3 just to feel cool. Oh, I went from 4th to 3rd.
You didn't have the push buttons?
No. I had push buttons on the steering wheel for the horn.
Really?
So I could go like this. And
I like that. I like that.
I try when I realized that the lights weren't cool is when I tried to sell them.
Did you try to sell just the lights?
Oh my god!
Or the car with the lights?
Okay, no. So this gets
better.
better.
Did it decrease the value?
This gets better actually. I thought I listed them for a very good price. I think I wanted like $30 for the whole shit. But by that time it evolved. I figured out that you could swap out your dome lights, and this car was a grandpa car, so it had the door card lights as well. I swapped out all those festoon bulbs with LEDs, and they were all green. That car was green.
Oh, I love that.
It was a sight to behold.
I made all those same decisions.
And I realized that it wasn't cool when I tried to sell the light bulbs and nobody wanted them.
The green machine.
It was cool. The door would open and a big bright green light would come on and flash on down on the road.
Well, the car was like silver. Was it silver?
It was like a tan. Yeah, it was like
tan.
a silver tan.
Was it tan or silver?
It was tan. Because
Because if I had a tan car in high school, I would tell everybody it was silver.
Really?
Just because tan, it's that. Is it desert tan or is it silver?
It's like it was a very, very light tan.
I mean, tan was really popular in the 80s and 90s.
It was a clean looking color.
Oh, yeah.
It hid dirt really well.
Yeah. That is one of the biggest draws of that color, I think. But I don't know what. I can't bring myself to like it for a car color.
And Buick loved it. Mm-hmm. And Buick absolutely rode that gold tan silver color to the grave.
And Buicks are
They're
beautiful vehicles.
Oh,
I mean the aughts Buicks and the early, like the late 90s, like the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
Like those Buicks, and they just ride like a.
You're like on a cloud. You're just
they're clouds.
Yeah.
So my first car was almost of 1998 Buick Park Avenue. Ironically, it was silver.
Silver.
Also from my grandpa that I now have the Chevy Equinox from. So it's kind of like karma coming back around.
And they're both silver.
So he was a
silver.
Buick kind of guy, right? Like he had spent his career as an engineer, and he was a Buick guy when you retire, you know. And so it was a 1998 Buick Park Avenue, and he and my grandma had decided we'd like to give this to our grandkids as a luxury vehicle for them to drive as their first vehicles. Nice. And this thing's, I don't know, it's a 1998. I started driving in 2009 or something. Okay. It was an old car in 1999. Okay. So it rode like a cloud, and I just refused to drive it. But its Pierre de Resistance was that it had the center console that would flip up into a bench seat in the front row. Ooh, so it was a 6-seater sedan instead of a 5-seater.
You could fit 5 buddies instead of 3.
You could fit 5 buddies. But it was front wheel drive, and the tires, they put these big balloon clown tires on the thing, and even brand spanking new, like with the best snow tire they made for the thing, it couldn't get out of its own way in the flat road, right? It was the worst vehicle ever in like any sort of weather, and I refused to drive it. So anyways, my parents, living in the Detroit area at the time, leased vehicles were really cheap. And my folks had been leasing vehicles like years and years and years. And so they had this leased car. It was a Saturn Vue. It was a 2009 Saturn Vue. And my mom was driving it to work, and she put an absolute crap load of miles on it. And they were like way over, right? So they decided to give it to me to drive, because it was I was only going to be going to work to school and back in it, but it had a turbo V6 in it. Okay, it was a front wheel drive turbo V6, and it actually was sportier than it should have been. Right, so it's like it's what today's Ford Escape kind of is as far as an SUV. It was a little bit of ahead of its time in the styling department and stuff. It was a total chick car, but it was it was bubbly as hell, and it was surprisingly quick. Like I would say it was equivalent to like the V6 Mustang of the day. Sure, I got right.
You. Yep.
So for a little SUV, 5-seater SUV, it was like surprisingly sporty. And so they gave me that thing to drive around, and I was like, oh, this is great. It's better than this Buick Park Avenue thing. But it was there's only like, I don't know, 6 months or a year left on the lease, and so I had to get something else. But so anyways, I couldn't do much as far as mods to that car, right? Because it was a leased vehicle. It had to be turned in a year. So I managed. So the mods that I did do is a transmission delete. So I deleted that out just about right off the bat from doing like neutral drops and reverse donuts and everything else. Okay. So this thing had like 30,000 miles. This thing had 30,000 miles on it, and I managed to ruin the transmission on it. And sorry, Mom, if you're listening. I know I lied to you, but I was street racing this thing, and like I was neutral dropping it. We were doing reverse donuts in the wet parking lots. I'm surprised the e-brake even worked in it when we turned it in, because the e-brake was ripped on everything that even resembled a corner.
Sure.
You know? And there was no speakers left in it when we were done with it, because they only lived on full volume all the time. And when 303 was big back in the day and stuff. And but the one mod I could do was LED lights under the seats, because they plugged into the cigarette lighter and they had the remote.
Oh yeah.
And I could tape them to like the bars under the seats.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have to like permanently install it.
I use zip ties.
Zip ties.
I use zip ties.
Zip ties were a friend.
I was pretty handy. Mechanic.
You're basically a whole mechanic. One hole.
I am mechanic.
So I did the LEDs under the seats, and my color of choice was either blue or purple. I went with the blue or purple. Now I couldn't do the headlight and the tail lights and the dome lights and any of that, but they did make it out of that vehicle into the next vehicle I had, which was a 2000 Ford Explorer. Oh my God. And so I had that, and then that's where my mod life started to really pick up, because now that vehicle was mine, right? Like I had bought that vehicle. Yeah. No one was going to tell me what I could and couldn't do to it. Mm-hmm. So that was when BMW had just come out with the like halo headlights.
Yeah.
You know, and they were the only ones with them. So I was like, those things are the coolest things ever. So I put halo headlights in my... I had to have them.
Of course.
I put the halo headlights in, and of course none of the wiring was done right, because I was like, had no clue what I was doing. So everything was like scabbed together under the hood. And then I replaced the taillights and stuff, and then the thing started to rust out. So I was like, oh, I have to fix that with bed liner. So I did the bed liner sides and the bumper, and then I had a grill guard with just massive like HID spotlights in the grill guard.
It was matte black, right?
The bed liner was, but it was like, so I told myself this thing was blue, but it was actually like purple. Okay. The color of this Explorer, it was like, they called it midnight blue, I think.
Oh yeah.
But it faded into purple. Like
I know almost exactly the color you're talking about.
Yeah. I'd tell everybody, oh yeah, I have a blue. It's blue. It's blue. It's dark blue. It's dark. No, that's purple. No, it's navy. It's navy.
It's navy. It's indigo.
It was purple. It was purple.
Sure. Just got to get a little color blindness going on.
Yeah, it was purple, man. But it was so slow. It couldn't get out of its own way, but I fucking love that thing. Sure. I absolutely love that thing. And then, but then I sold that, like, in college, like halfway through college maybe, and I had bought a Volkswagen Passat wagon, and it was a pile of garbage.
Yeah.
Volkswagen Passat. It had an awesome like tan interior, but its outside was mint green, and I hated the outside color. Okay. But I got it for a smoking deal, and probably for a reason. And and it was all scratched up. It was door dinged and stuff. So I was like, all right, I gotta fix that. So at the time, like Plastidip had just come out.
Okay. I painted wow, that took a long time.
The entire car in white plastic.
Oh, nice.
Except the roof, I did a black roof, and I plastied the whole car white, and then I had like made a grill guard for it out of like steel pipe and painted that red. I put aftermarket wheels on it. I had a whole I had the extended roof rack that was the full length of the whole roof. I had to buy extra sections for the roof rack because it wasn't long enough. And then I had like put a light bar in that.
Yeah.
And I remember I got all done with it. I was all excited about it. And I had sticker bombed it and everything. It was horrible. It was absolutely atrociously bad. But
this thing sounds crazy.
It was absolutely terrible. I did no mechanical mods to it, right? Like, it was
all
only
visual.
cosmetic. And anyways, I get done with it. I'm all excited because I got my grill guard on, brush bar that, you know, I made myself from like Harbor Freight tools, and it didn't fit quite right and barely would mount up.
Sure.
And I get those spotlights in it and stuff, and I go out and I'm like, at night, I want to test this thing out. And I'm out there at night and I flip the LED light bar on that I'd put on the roof.
Yeah.
And the white Plasti-Dip paint job I'd done to the thing reflected all the light back into the windshield. So like, you turn the roof lights on, I couldn't see a thing on the road. Like, it all reflected back into your face.
Job.
So your choices were leave that on and sort of be able to see in front of you, right? Or turn it off. Because if you went between them, like with your high beams, if you went between the light bar and just your regular lights, it would blind you so much that your eyes would adjust to the light bar, and then you'd turn your lights off or your regular like low beams on. You couldn't see anything because your eyes had like trained to the high
lights
beam.
Even on?
I know, it was dumbest thing ever.
That was a learning moment.
So luckily the transmission got fell out of the thing on me a few months into ownership and put me out of my misery. But it was one of those like bittersweet moments. Like I had, you know, I was a college student, right? So like I didn't have any money to go buy a new car, but so that kind of sucked. But
the car
at the same time, it was like, okay, at least I don't have to drive around a Plasti-Dipped light bar.
Yeah.
Volkswagen Passat anymore. That's my own doing.
And it woke you up
my
a little
own
bit.
decision-making challenges.
Can you look on there? We're not missing any chats or anything, right? Because somebody followed, but it doesn't show up. And I saw the follow on my live thing on my phone first.
We did get a follower.
We're
at 17 now.
Who is it? Does it say? And how come it's not showing up there? Weird. I thought it started with a C, but by the time I looked at our screen, the thing was too small and it went away. Yes, +1 follower. Well, you know what that means. We got to take a wheel spin. Who's going to go first? You were able to find a name at all or no?
Yeah, I wasn't able to find a name, but we do definitely have one more follower.
Yes.
So,
who's up first?
Do we let Brad go first since he's the guest?
Our special guest of the episode?
Guest?
What say you, Brad?
All right.
It's not exactly a good thing to let him go first.
Do I get to spin the arrow to choose what side I want it to land on?
Sure, put it wherever you want to.
Are we like a 6 o'clock, a 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock? All right,
whatever you think is lucky. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Ooh, good spin.
I need to get some like certain music for the spin, maybe.
Yeah, right.
This is gonna be about 3 hours long of music, man.
I wonder did you spin the whole thing?
That Jeopardy music is probably copyrighted.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hey, that's cheating.
That's cheating. I think you loosened it to make it spin more freely.
He's going for that.
Sweet treat!
All that bullshit for a sweet treat? Are you kidding me? Jeez.
Where's this candy bowl at?
Candied bowls around the corner. So Sam,
I better get a cold snack while
since
I'm at
this
it,
one's
too.
not as intense as the first one, our first episode. Do we all do a one for each spin?
We can do a little bit of a wobble pop for a guy.
We can do that.
Chat, what do you think? Are we spinning one person at a time? Like
Colin,
we just
wobble pop?
a what?
A wobble pop?
A wobble pop.
Cold snack?
Oh yeah.
Yingling.
A home soda. Yeah. Thank you.
A dad drink?
Or are we all just spinning and everyone has to endure the punishment at the same time? Gee, I wonder what
Reese's
the answer is going to be.
I think we'll take that answer as a yes.
I wonder what they're going to choose.
I opened this one before I even finished my first one. Pro move it. Oh shit.
Oh, is that another follower or is that a new chat?
That's another follower. Whoa. Holy shit, that's really
You
small.
can see it? Where?
It's on the bottom right of the screen. The alert comes up in fireworks. But I wish it would show up in chat. That's got to be a setting somewhere.
We'll have to set that up for the next stream.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to do that.
It's in the setting. Oh, but then I think we'd have to copy over the file again. So Sweet Treat's lame. We'll let Brad win that. But now we get to spin again, and we all
guess what? We're at 19 followers now.
Really?
So we actually got to do 3 spins.
Holy shit. Okay, so there's probably another one coming through.
Hey.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much
Thank you for the follows.
Thank you very much. We're on our road to get 25 as our first follower goal. But if we get to 50, then we get to participate in doing some affiliate content. Sorry, let me go back to the wide. I tend to forget to leave it on that. If we can get to 50 and we can get to affiliate, then we can do cooler stuff with our graphics and animations, and we can gift things to you guys and like give you points and stuff, and then we can do fun games with points that the audience accrues. You can spend your points to do things to our live stream. Like we can download things that affect our live stream somehow, or maybe that's how we do wheel spin stuff in the future. It'll
be more like wheel spin type of stuff,
right?
But with audience participation, or you can spend your points to kind of decide what we're gonna do,
right?
In a way.
Yeah, exactly.
So why don't you spin the wheel for me while I go take a piss?
I'll spin it really hard, and we'll see
let's
see if you can beat it.
Yeah.
I'll give you a head start.
You can race.
Go.
We'll time you.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Well, that's gonna be a good one.
If you put your microphone against the wall, it could be public content.
Yeah, right. Hope he leaves the piss. I hope so too. That's one of my favorite dad jokes. You ever hear that one?
What's that?
I gotta go take a piss. Take one or leave one?
Mm.
So stupid. So stupid.
That's a good eye roller.
Yeah, it's a groaner for sure. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Sam's definitely not winning this. Wow. Come on, any day now. Oh, is that curls for girls?
Curls for girls.
Curls for girls.
So you got a girlfriend?
Sam has a fiance.
A fiance.
So he's trying to attract one girl here. Hopefully no more.
So you're saying he's still available?
No. He is a happily taken man, but he will do curls for his girl.
We'll allow it.
We'll allow it. So, when he comes back, should we tell him that he got the hot shot again like last week? Because he loved it so much.
Curl for girl.
Did I make it back in time?
Nope.
Yeah, you lost.
All right.
Curls
for girls.
We renamed it appropriately. Curls for the girl.
Yeah.
We don't want to get you in trouble here. That's an aggressive spin. Hey, I had to make it long enough so that he had a chance to get back to beat it, but no, he took too long.
You don't have much weight on this one.
That's not mine.
Colin, why is the weight so low?
That's my warm up. Leave me alone.
So do I have to just sit here and...
You got about 20 more minutes of that.
20?
Yeah, we'll let you know to stop. Hey, chat, count to 100 for us, and then we'll let them know when to stop. That's what you get for calling my weight small, bitch.
All right, I think it's your turn to spin.
Okay. Wait, we all got to do that though, don't we?
We do 3 times, apparently.
Well, so you just got to pass off the curls when you're done with them, I guess.
I guess if you spin it.
Spin it. Yeah. Oh, that's another aggressive spin. I definitely did not need to do that. I'm sorry.
You're going to need another topic while that rolls itself around.
I request my... Loeli? Please tell me how to pronounce that. I don't want to disrespect you. Loli?
Loli? I'm not sure about
Lily.
that one.
Loli 11? Thank you very much for the follow. You are getting your spin right here. This one's for you. What's it gonna be? I like that the arrow is not straight up and down. It's kind of...
Do you want to remove the arrow in mid-spin?
Not mid-spin, no. Oh! Oh, God.
Oh,
wow. Wow, it's still going.
it's still going. Wow.
Oh, that's right on the line. Oh, that's definitely make a rule, though.
Make a rule.
Well,
Okay.
shit. Only... Do all three of us make a rule, then? I
No,
suppose so.
just you make a rule, because you
I
you
think
have to
I'll-
make a rule for us too, essentially.
I never
Yeah.
was a rule follower, though, so...
It's going to be brutal.
Better
Should have
not
been
be.
thinking about that one beforehand. Colin's finger sure is strong. I'm going to have to prove that in a little bit with that dumbbell.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Don't doubt the power of Colin's finger.
Yeah. It's an aggressive one. Make a rule.
I'm still going with these.
Every time you fuck up your sentence or you stumble over your word, you got to finish your drink.
Ooh, that's brutal.
That is a brutal one. Actually, I don't know why I did that to myself, because I'm probably going to be the one to do it.
Do you count? Are you part of this?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I guess you're gonna be drinking a lot.
I hope I hope I flub my words when
Katie
I'm still
wants
on
shots.
Well, get somebody else to follow us, and maybe it might land on shots. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm secretly hoping for shots as well. You can read it from there. It does say Trump impressions. Trump voice for 5 minutes.
All right, should we start a friendly debate?
How long are you going over there?
I don't know. I was just gonna go until I was told not to do it anymore.
China.
Well, we gotta do this 3 times, so let's keep going.
Okay. Shit. What's next? We have to spin it one more time. Is that what you're saying?
2 more times.
2 more times? Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we got 3 followers. We got 3
I
extra.
went with a
followers
light
today.
spin, but I'm gonna go with the.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna move the arrow mid spin. Oh, it stopped it.
You move
that stopped it.
You move the whole thing. This spins the arrow. This tightens like the way that the spinner works.
I don't
This
wanna
is
tighten it.
this is a test spin. I just want to see if we're
All
back
right,
to normal
and
now. Yep. I think that's a little bit more accurate. Put it straight up and down once, or that's fine. I don't care which direction it is.
I'm gonna lean a little left this round.
Okay. All right.
Whoa, that was
terrible. That was
terrible.
terrible.
Spin.
Did we tighten it up too much? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It's the suspense is
That
bad.
looks
There we
good.
go. That's an appropriate
We got it
amount.
now.
Shots are easy to finish.
Hot shot. That sounds horrible.
Hot shot.
Oh hell yeah!
That sounds
I did
horrible.
that last time.
That's
Great.
Sam's favorite.
My
from last
favorite.
time.
It's a good one.
Shit. Okay. Well,
All
I'll
right.
go prep that.
Yeah, you go prep that, and I guess I'll spin again.
Hand that off to Brad. Spin again? I thought that was our last spin.
I thought we were each doing 3 spins. Or we're doing the new followers a spin for each of us for this.
Oh, so that was a misinterpretation. I originally meant that when we spin it, everyone does that challenge. That's what I meant.
Boys,
You
we're gonna be talking like Trump,
Oh.
drinking hot shots.
Then you would have been
standing
the
on our
last
heads.
one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Okay, let's have chat decide.
Fucking hot shot.
Why don't we have chat decide?
You want to do 3 each? That means we're doing 9 wheel spins.
Yeah, 9 wheels.
We're gonna die.
You're gonna be standing.
Okay,
on your,
is
I believe
everybody?
you're gonna be standing on your head, making a rule, taking a hot shot, doing curls for the girls, eating a sweet treat.
while talking about how great you are
and you're gonna need to be the best at
All
it.
right, tell us if you want.
Nobody does.
That's why they call me.
Believe me.
Sam.
Nobody finishes your drink while
Left
making
Joe
rules
Byron
better than
That
I
is
do.
why.
Isn't gonna know.
Yeah, so 9 wheel spins chat, or everybody does one of the wheel
Obviously,
spins.
they're gonna want 9 spins.
Well, why wouldn't they?
Let me get the hot shot quick.
Yeah, but only Brad will have to do the hot shot.
That's what it sounded like.
Oh wait, really?
That's what it sounded
Yes.
I'm glad you said something.
Yeah.
I'm right confused.
like. I mean, I wouldn't want you guys to feel left out.
I think I've done over 100 of these. Am I done?
Hey Brad, do you like spicy food?
No, not one bit.
Oh. Well, this is gonna be a rough.
The question was, do I like
you.
spicy food? The answer's not really one, but not really. No, not really. But I like the idea of spicy food. Does that make sense? Do you think
You
that
like the
makes
idea?
sense? I like the idea of spicy food. Like,
but you don't like spicy food.
yeah.
I mean, do you like the taste of spicy food? You just don't like the after effects of it.
All right, so I went. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So I went to this wedding, right? And it was for one of my wife's best friends, and the couple, they're both Hmong, right?
Okay.
And so we go to this and it's a backyard wedding, and it's a wild food experience. They've got all sorts of different stuff that I've never seen before. But anyways, one of the things that they had on the table was this, like, I call it a salsa, but it wasn't really a salsa. It was like a spicy conglomeration of stuff that looked like a salsa, that they put on different dishes they had. Anyways, it was so good, but it was the hottest thing I've ever eaten in my life by like a million fold.
Is
right?
this like habanero hot?
No, way.
Like
it was in. I don't know.
hot?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Yeah, just
It was, but it was the most flavorful, like, adder to something that I've ever had, pretty much. But it was so hot. It was so hot. Usually when things are
like, how long were you feeling it for?
hours.
Hours.
Okay, it's hours.
Then
Definitely
it was pretty
hours.
hot.
Yeah. It was really, really hot.
That's
and it didn't help. It was like a hot summer day, backyard wedding too. So like the relief was sit in a shaded tent in 95-degree heat, and which isn't. You'll take the shade, but it's still 90 degrees in the shade,
That's
right?
awful.
So, yeah, but it was so hot. It was so hot. So I'm sitting there dying, and my wife's just making fun of me because I put like a spoonful of the stuff on my food, like just the whole plate, and she put just like a dab on the side, having a little bit more wisdom to what was going on than me, and I just got my butt kicked, like something I've never experienced before. It was like having my heart broken as a teenager all over again, you know? But it was so good. It was so good. So that's why I say I want to like spicy stuff, because that was one of the best, like, most flavorful things I've ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're certainly
but I just
get
wasn't
some flavor
built
with
for
this
it.
hot
I wasn't
shot.
built for it.
Yep.
You're still going with that thing?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to put
Jesus,
this down.
put it down. You're turning red, man.
You got to put some foam weights on that thing so it's curls for the girls, you know, like
Girl.
curl for the
He's
girls.
doing it for one girl. All right, Bradley.
All right.
Don't think too much about it. Just swallow.
Oh, that's horrible.
You took it like a champ, though.
Is that tomato something or another?
That is Fireball hot sauce.
I mean, I get the Fireball, but like, what's the background? Like the hot sauce flavor of it?
I couldn't tell when I had
No,
it.
I think it's literally just a hot sauce. Yeah.
It's not good. It's not the Hmong wedding hot
Well, of course
sauce.
it's not good. It's not
Salsa
supposed to be
thing.
drank like a
Obviously
shot.
not.
That's generally flavorful.
That's fine.
I would say this is like eating a bell pepper in comparison to like a hot, like a ghost pepper.
Oh,
Compared
okay.
to what that stuff was. That stuff
Yeah.
was so hot. I mean, like, I just got train wrecked. My whole life got ruined. I flipped
Your
upside
whole
down.
life is ruined. Is it currently still ruined?
This stuff was so hot. I have dreams about how hot this stuff was. It was so hot. But the wildest thing about it was, like, so we're at this wedding, right? And I don't know all the traditions. I really don't know that much about, like, Hmong culture in general. But there's all these old ladies cooking and family cooking and stuff. And they had, like, tables set up in the driveway to feed the masses of people that were coming through this wedding, right?
Yeah.
But like in the garage, they've got these massive vats of stews and meats and wonderful stuff going, and they're all yelling at each other, and they're all cooking, and the food was really, really good, right? And it was an interesting experience. But like the people in front of me, I saw that were part of the family for the wedding. They would grab like, I don't know, half a spoonful or something for their food and eat it like it was nothing. And so I grabbed a full spoonful and put it all over my stuff. I was dying. It was like all I had to just make it through the day.
Oh yeah.
I was shutting down.
Yeah, I've been there.
It was so good though. It was so good. Not that.
Not that.
I'm gonna
Not the
spin.
same.
No, that's ketchup compared to
You're
that.
gonna spin again? Did we get another follow? Or are we doing the 3 per now?
I should sit down and explain that. It looks like chat wants us to do the 9 spins.
9 spins. Okay.
So when we get a follow, each of us has to spin, and it applies to just us.
I would like to add a rule, which is one and
Okay.
done.
One and
If
done?
the spin's been burned up,
You don't.
Like,
Are you
if
saying?
I'm gonna take 10 of
Are
these,
you saying you don't want
I
to do
don't
a
want
hot
to take
shot
10
again?
of these, right?
Okay. I mean
that's fair.
I want a
enough.
little
We can do that
variety.
for
I want a
this
little
episode.
variety in my life.
But you have to spin again if you get
I'll
something
spin
you already
again.
got.
I'll
Sure,
spin
sure,
again.
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't let it go
Alright.
to waste.
All right. Let me.
I'm giving up
Next
sweet.
session
Why
is
don't you
hot
t-
sauce.
I'm giving up
Change
a
the-
sweet treat as an option in
Sure,
my repertoire.
sir.
change the camera. So that's good.
Oh, there we
get
go.
it up
Oh,
there.
nice angle.
See?
Way to go,
Oh,
Sam.
I gotta.
You got to put the arrow straight up too.
Yeah. Let me get that arrow looking nice.
Okay, so I'm still a little bit behind on what we're doing here. We're doing 9 spins,
9
but it's
spins.
only one person per
Close
spin.
enough.
Are we taking turns, or is everyone doing each of the 9 spins?
We're each. So, we each do 1 spin per follow that we get.
Okay.
So we
So,
got 3
I
follows.
gotcha.
So 9.
I think we're
spins.
saying the same thing. We're just saying different.
Yeah.
Well, that's a spin.
We need a spinner cam. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe we do.
yeah. His name is Sam.
What do we got? What do we got?
Oh,
Oh,
more curls.
more curls. Oh man. Okay, we
Spin
got
it again. Spin it again.
because we got
The
to
curls
For
are late.
variety,
We
for
already got
variety.
that. We need something great. Watch.
I
you're
need
gonna
a
get
Sam cam. Just Sam.
Sam cam. Yeah, we just take this exact scene and just zoom it in on Sam's face.
Oh.
Oh,
We're
Trump.
gonna need.
Oh.
We're gonna need to know what your best Trump impression is, and
I've
we hear
never-
you're the greatest at it.
I've never practiced a Trump impression, but
I think you just
all
go
I
like
know
this.
is
a
that
lot.
I just go like this and say China. China, China, China.
gotta put more twang on it. China.
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 Your 5-minute timer has started, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, how many spins do we have? Do we have a couple more at least?
Come on, do your spin.
Oh,
Do
thank you,
your
sir.
spin.
Thank you, Mr. President.
This will be the greatest spin.
Not to be
Not
mistaken
all people spin
for other
like I
spins.
spin. Billions.
Billions and billions.
Thank God we don't have billions of spins to do. It would be the worst spin in history. Whoop,
Have
I'm
you
kinda
seen the
facing wrong
video
way.
on YouTube of just it's like a cut of Trump saying billions and billions and billions and billions?
Oh, hot shot.
Oh, we got another
Think-
hot shot.
Oh, I moved it.
Dude,
It was,
we got
it was,
another hot
it was
shot.
definitely on hot
It's
shot.
not a Trump impression.
All right, I guess I get a taste of my own medicine here.
Karma.
Karma.
This is the spiciest hot shot there is.
There isn't a hot shot spicier to be had.
There isn't a hotter
me.
hot
Believe
shot.
me. I've tried billions.
Billions. Billions and billions.
and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. Oh yeah, so there's a video where somebody had cut together just Trump saying billions over and over and over again. And so one of my best friends, he's the best man at my wedding. Anytime he gets a little intoxicated around a large group of people, he's just finding the nearest TV and he's putting it on like all the time. We're at a party of 30 people. Next thing you know, Trump's billions and 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 billions
Billions.
and billions and billions and billions and billions, and it just every time you know it's coming, you have to expect it, but it's still funny. It's still funny. And you're always kind of secretly hoping for it. You know, it's like, is it going to come out? Yeah. It
Of
is.
course it's funny. Trump is The funniest.
Possibly the greatest.
Possibly the greatest comedian of all time.
Believe me. I've heard. I know.
Believe me. You can trust me.
You know who's not funny? Joe Biden. He's not funny because I'm the funny. I'm the funniest. Too sleepy.
Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe wouldn't know. Sleepy Joe can't know. Oh, yeah.
So, sorry.
China.
Took so long, but China.
I'm just gonna.
You got 2 minutes left on that. By the way,
China.
So I'm telling a story over here. China.
How's that Ford Mustang doing? China.
China. Not built in China. I just wanted to show what we're dealing with here. It caught my eye at the store because it says Fireball.
Why, Colin? Why does it catch your eye?
Okay, would you rather I use like some sort of hottest of the hot sauce? Why can't I think of the ghost pepper?
Yeah.
Could you imagine just chugging a thing of ghost pepper? That would suck.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
So anyway,
It's
this
for
is
the people.
oh, it's at least it's 0 calories.
It's for
That's
the
pretty
people.
nice. How is it 0 calories?
Because it's from China.
I don't think that's the reason, President Trump. There he goes. He's gone. See you later, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
Crooked Hillary.
Yeah. Oh, shit. That's funny. Okay, no, so back to this. How can sustenance be 0 calories?
It's
Doesn't
not
have to have it-
sustenance.
Yeah, I suppose.
You haven't met the general
Maybe
criteria.
they assume that with how little you're eating of this, it's just negligible. Little did they know we're taking shots of it, so that's got to count as like half a calorie, right?
All right, so there's the sweating. There's
a sweating.
There's the expulsion process.
Yes.
That it's neutral.
Expulsion.
It's net zero.
Net zero. Okay. I'll take that.
It's green, if you will. Net zero.
130 milligrams of sodium.
Oh, jeez.
It comes out green as well.
It's because it comes from China.
It's not really that green because it comes from China. And China's red.
Red. You know what else is red?
China. Commies.
This is very interesting. Actually, the only number that is on here is the sodium. So if this thing wasn't all sodium, it would be nothing.
It tasted like sodium. If you want to know, in case if you haven't had any yet, Colin, it tastes like sodium.
I have not. Yeah, it doesn't
It
taste
tastes like sodium.
sodium.
It's not actually that hot. It just tastes like sodium.
I keep sniffing it,
Just put her
but
back.
I've never actually tried it yet.
Put her back.
I've been
Put her
saving
back.
it for when
Just
it's
put her back.
inevitably been my time. All right, I'll stop.
Down the hatch.
Oh, we gotta get the.
As the song
We
says,
gotta get the
bottoms
whole
up.
shot on this. There we go. This is why we have different camera angles. All right. Bottoms up.
China.
Yeah, make him go through the other passage.
That's disgusting.
It's terrible, isn't it?
That's gross.
It's not even that hot. It's just gross.
It's like I'm getting the sodium.
Yeah.
I'm getting the sodium. It's
The
just
sodium.
salt.
It's all salt. The
It's-
whole thing is salt.
It's as if
It's
you.
like tomato salt is what it
it's
tastes
like
like
you-
to me.
It's like you took a shot of Fireball that they just dumped in somebody else's tomato drink, and it's
Yep.
like that was the end of the bar night. Here you can have the scraps.
Yep.
That's what that was. That was gross.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah, you definitely did like what the shot is with the what do they call it when you drink the bar rail?
The bar mat shot.
bar
Yeah.
mat. You
this
just
is-
did a
yeah.
you just did a Bloody Mary
like
bar mat. That's what you did.
Everybody at the table had a Bloody Mary, and there was some hot sauce used, and you just had to drink what's left over. That's
Yep.
what that was.
And they definitely spilled the salt on the margarita glasses.
oh, that was gross, but totally tolerable.
I'd expect it when it's made in China.
Yeah, your 5 minutes has expired, by the way, too.
Oh, okay.
That's too bad.
Darn.
That's
I
fine.
was really hoping to pull a couple more out there.
Official review though. That was significantly less spicy than some of the sandwiches that we had on this show last couple weeks ago. It wasn't even spicy. It's just
I wouldn't say hot.
It's fireball, salt, and nasty.
What I noticed when I took it 2 weeks ago is I didn't really taste much heat at first, and then it was like it got a little hotter, but it didn't get crazy hot. Yeah. But then it gave me like a good rumble.
It's a solid gut rot. Yeah. It's a solid gut rot.
Yeah. You already?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit, my time is coming. I'm super sensitive to things like that.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
If I just suddenly book it out of this set here, you'll know where I went. God.
Yeah, you need a beer just for like new flavor.
All right, what's next? How many more do we have?
Just went?
Hope somebody's been keeping count.
We got one more spin each.
One more spin each. Yep. Okay. It's well, that was just my turn, huh? So now it's Brad. Oof. The yuck is just in my mouth.
Yuck. It's a full yuck.
It's sodium. Yep. It's literally sodium.
Ooh, what do we got?
I thought you got sweet treat again. Now you get
Trump voice, please.
You get the
for me.
5-minute timer.
Believe me.
Nice.
We should do a counter where there has to be a Hillary and a Biden on the other side of the room here. I have to beat you in a debate.
Good point, Clay. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. We are so close to 20 followers. We're sitting at 19. If you're watching right now and you haven't followed, make sure you follow us. We're gonna be streaming this every other week.
From China.
No. From America.
For China. America's the greatest.
What am I gonna get?
Uh-oh. Oh, thanks for switching over.
Just like the Gulf of America.
Oh.
Shot. Oh,
you
no.
Lucky dog.
My least favorite out of everything.
We might actually see
My
Sam
least favorite is
Joe
Biden.
You might see me throw up.
Sam has a lot of a gag reaction when it comes to taking shots.
I have a problem with shots.
Do you want to do that or not?
As long as it's something that's like
pick.
relatively mild.
You get to pick, yeah. Go over to the bar and pick yourself out something nice.
I'll be right back. Going to the bar.
Okay. Not included in the set that you see, we have a full bar at our disposal. Because, we're in the Midwest. That's what we do here.
Sounds like Hillary.
Oh, God, I forgot you still have that. That totally caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that.
Adverse reaction to shots. Hillary.
Oh, man. I'm in the freezer. Oh, Sam.
I was thinking if you have that limoncello.
No, unfortunately, we don't have any limoncello. Look in the freezer, though. You have Shanky's Whip.
Love Shanky's.
You
love some
in
Shanky's.
The door. Good call, Katie. Give him the Kahlua. No, you don't want a shot of Kahlua. Gross. You see it, Sam?
Our resident bartender has
Whip.
introduced us to Shanky's.
Close the freezer first so you can
it's been a good
let my ice not melt. And then just open up the cap. It doesn't describe what it is. Just open up the cap and smell it. See if it's something you like. It's like an Irish. Would you call it a whiskey?
Yeah, I guess it is.
It's an Irish.
I guess it is.
It's an Irish liqueur. It's called Shanky's Whip. You smell it and it smells like a caramel Kit Kat. It's just amazing.
Introduced to us by our resident bartender.
Let me take a look.
Our resident bartender,
Eric,
yeah. All right, good call, Katie. He's going for the Shanky's Whip. He seems to be enjoying the scent of it. We'll see.
Or should I do the bourbon?
It is completely. Oh, you want to shoot? You'd rather shoot. You have a gag reflex on shots, and you'd rather do a bourbon than Shanky's Whip.
It's not so much a gag reflex as it is just a puke.
Oh, Sam corrected me. You can't hear him because he's not on microphone. But he said it's not a gag reflex. It's puke.
Like Hillary.
Oh, sorry for mistaking that.
Just like Hillary.
So what other? Probably not. I don't know about that.
Believe me, out of the billions and billions.
Jeez. What's new, chat? What's going on? What's exciting? What car questions do you have for us? What else we got?
I do want to get into this internal combustion versus EV versus hydrogen versus X versus Y, Z, whatever's the flavor of the day in the alternatives market.
Yes.
We'll have an adult conversation for a minute about this one.
Absolutely. Right in front of you.
The plastic ones?
Yeah, you can use plastic or glass. They're in the same location.
Oh, I see.
It's an amateur bartender over here.
I'll do the whip.
Who is that? Can we say that name?
Good luck.
I gotta Google that person to make sure I can release that comment. I don't want anything controversial here. Automod held your comment, Clayton. I just want to make sure it's okay to release. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought it was a joke of some sorts, like political based. No, yeah. Okay. I didn't know who David Lynch was. Not a big deal. Where's the mouse? Hey, Sam, can you release that comment?
Can I what?
Release that comment. Just hit allow. David Lynch died. Also, who... I like the line above it. It says, Cantina Carpool Podcast added permitted term fucking.
Yeah,
it's
we
on
can
the
permit that term.
It's on the
it's on the approved list.
It's on the approved list. We endorse fucking.
You've surpassed family appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're now into adult appropriate.
For the emote too. Also today, I don't know if I'm assuming you're saying David Lynch died probably this week or today, but also in Wisconsin here, we lost Bob Uecker.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
That's all the news that I've been hearing today, but I'm not too much into Brewer baseball, so I guess but I know he's a legend. I know he was 90.
It's a good long run.
So yeah, it's a big deal.
That's a whole home run, if you will.
Yeah, he literally was announcing baseball until he died, so good on him for a full long-lived career.
Good for him.
All right, what do you got over there, Sam?
All right. I have the Shandy's
Shanky's whip.
Some Shanky's.
Shanky's whip.
Introduced to us by our favorite local bartender. We're passing on the love.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Please don't throw up on a set.
I'll try not to throw up.
If you do,
good thing there's a bathroom nearby.
Yes. He's got the microphone out of the way too, so he can quickly exit stage left. Just think of it.
I probably haven't had a shot in.
I love shots because Joe Biden hates shots.
Your time is over.
All right, here we go.
Just think of it as dessert. It's dessert. All right, he kept it in. We're good.
All right.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
We just gotta wait a couple minutes.
That's a 10.
See how it goes.
Oh, does it take several minutes?
Just a few minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's more of a stomach problem than anything else.
Oh, well, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Now I'm even more afraid. I thought it was an instantaneous
Do you want to
reflex.
respin? Do you want to respin?
Double or nothing. If your stomach's going to be turning anyways, why not make it a double shot? It's a good shot.
It actually tasted pretty good. It's not that bad.
It's like a dessert. It's awesome.
Eric wouldn't let us down.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. All right, so we got...
we got one more spin.
One more spin? Is it back to me?
It's back to you.
Back to you.
Got one left. Well, actually, let me check if we got any more followers.
I just looked a little bit ago, and I think we're still stuck at 19.
We are still at 19.
Getting a 20th would be pretty cool. All right. I'm going to upright this thing, make it straight up and down.
Ooh.
As best as I can. We'll see if that's lucky. All right. Give her hell, huh?
Are you a big go to the casino and gamble guy?
No.
Do you have your rituals if you do?
No.
You don't like tap the chips twice?
I've
and,
probably
like,
been to a casino like twice. I won like enough to get a nice free dinner the first time we went to Phoenix. And then when I was in St. Louis with another group of friends, I lost like about that same amount, maybe like $70. I was like, okay, well, I've practically broke even.
So you're casino neutral?
That finger though. Yeah, I'm casino neutral. I would go again. I'd probably like go for $100 worth of entertainment and then call it quits and not go any further.
Yeah, I'm a go to the casino on a special
is that brown
type of person.
I don't want to move and alter it because that seems to be what has happened. Is it brown or is it purple?
Oh yeah, curls for the girls.
Curls for the girls. Oh, fuck.
All right.
Well, good. Actually, yeah, I much prefer that over doing engine impressions. Shit.
Doing Trump impressions? You don't want to do some Trump impressions?
I feel like we've all done our Trump impressions already.
Hillary, China, Biden.
I gotta do 100
billions of those. You
It's
need
really
billions.
not that bad.
I'm stupid. I gotta count. I won't contribute anything to conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're used to that low weight.
All right.
sorry.
So while you inject energy into this room there with the with some curls for girl, this
I did it again.
No, I got it.
Oh,
We're good.
thanks.
Yeah. Co-host is coming in for the.
Oh, wait, I gotta
For the
do
support.
Colin's finger. Hang on. Bring it back to me. Oh, that's gonna be rough. Colin's finger right here.
Colin's finger has like 110% of the power that Shaggy does. So.
Almost.
that's a lot spicier than that shot. Than Fireball, tomato juice, sodium.
This is just awkward. I'm
incredibly
curling and you guys are
This is
saying nothing.
incredibly awkward to watch.
So spicy.
You're killing it, bud. You're killing
Thanks. Yeah, I feel it.
I think this Katie.
it. You got a
thinks you're
wedding. You got a
attractive.
wedding
Yeah.
coming up.
Hey,
You're
Katie,
gonna
I think
need
she might
that.
be a little attracted
the
to
Katie
you.
Real. Would you marry me?
Spicy, bud. Spicy.
You think that was 50 with one arm?
There's a foul on the play.
Somewhere around there.
I got the fatigue going on.
There you go.
I just
Good.
don't want to do it anymore. Fuck it.
All right, what's our next topic to discuss?
Let's
What do you
do
guys wanna
favorite
discuss?
mod project. Let's
Fav-
do favorite mod project.
Favorite. Okay.
So
yeah, that's a good one.
I would like to extend the bounds of this one a little bit. Mod project is going to have to extend to vehicle, not just car.
Yeah, we
Sure.
don't have to talk about just cars today.
All right.
Yeah, anything with an engine.
Anything with an engine.
Anything with an engine.
All right, what is it?
For me? Oh, I don't work on anything except cars, really.
So you're gonna. So it's gonna be Corvette.
Mine is going to be the Corvette.
All right.
Yeah. I think it's going to be the engine swap that I did and everything else involved with that. That was just a good time to learn about the vehicle and just that kind of stuff in general. And you're trying really hard.
So stupid.
You're doing great, Colin. Keep her going.
Good job.
Thanks.
We're having a. We'll
Yeah.
let you know when you're ready.
Somebody's got to carry the team.
It was a big learning experience. Colin got to help me out a ton, so he was able to learn as well, and it was kind of nice to hang out with friends and work on cars together. So that was a good time.
Definitely.
Yeah, I have done other stuff to the car now because it is kind of I did switch from autocross to track, so the C6 is more of a track car, or starting
So
to
you're doing
become more
track
of a
days
track
then,
car.
like at Road America and stuff
Yep,
like that.
yep.
Yeah.
So I have about 12 or 13 track days.
That's pretty decent
No.
quantity.
So yeah, pretty good amount. I didn't get to go out last year, unfortunately. This year's a a maybe, still up in the air, but not looking so hot. But hopefully the year after, I'll be able to go out quite a bit because I do have some future mods that I need to do that we will be talking about later. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say that's my favorite, just because it was a lot of learning, and because I got to do it with friends.
Yeah, that's all good.
All right, I wasn't counting, but that had to have been 100.
It was 88. I think you got a couple more.
Billions
no way.
Of reps.
Oh man, who turned the heater on?
Colin, what is your favorite mod project?
My favorite mod project so far was putting new wheels on my Mustang because absolutely nothing went wrong. It went according to plan. They fit.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. You
And
can't have that.
It only
Crazy.
took like a couple hours.
That's wild.
Yeah. My favorite.
That never happens.
My favorite mod is something totally not cool because it went correctly. Changing a headlight bulb on the first try. You can't beat that.
I've
no,
never
I
had that
have
experience. I don't know what it's all about.
think-
We do it right because we do it twice.
That's
I
a
think
saying.
just like you gentlemen, if I could probably list more mods that I was not a fan of than what I enjoyed.
Oh, come on. Those coilovers were fun.
Well, that's where I was going with this. Yeah.
What did we put coilovers on?
It was my 2013 Subaru WRX.
Had to have them.
Super
Yeah.
Blue?
Oh, it was
Did
totally.
you do aftermarket wheels too?
I did. Yeah.
All right.
I went baller. I went.
Catback exhaust.
It was actually on that car. It was only an axle back
Okay.
because I didn't want to get illegal headers.
Sheboygan County.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I wanted to play it safe there, but in terms of like the wheels, I went with Work Emotion, D9Rs. I think
I
that's
don't know
right.
those.
D9Rs. Really expensive wheel. They came from Japan. They looked nice, but they were small and they didn't really have a crazy offset or crazy width at all. So that's it. They just looked cool. They didn't really fit the wheel well as I wanted them to, but they looked better and I was happy about it. But the worst mod job that has ever happened was when Sam helped me with the coilovers. So that Subaru WRX, I mean, we've both changed out coilovers a couple times beforehand
I haven't.
on like other vehicles. That was your first time ever doing coilovers?
That was my first time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was probably my second or third
I mean,
time
I've
then.
done like shocks before, which are,
Sure.
I mean, half of it.
Half of it. Sure.
But yeah, first time for coilovers specifically.
I gotcha. It should be like a couple hours to maybe 4 hours at most to do those. I would say an hour per coilover is probably tip top of what you'd expect if things are really bad.
Things aren't going according to plan. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think it took us 12 hours to change
Was it
out
really
the
that long?
suspension
That's
on
about
that car.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you just take whatever they say it should, and you multiply it by 10, and that's about what it should be. About
Yeah,
14
it
trips
was-
to the hardware store, 6 strip bolts, and 3 or 4 new tools at least.
I don't think we even had like hardware issues. It's just it was so rusted to shit we couldn't get it apart. I think the only thing we had to run for was like PB blaster or to break the threads.
That's right. We did run for some PB.
Oh
blaster.
my god.
Bug Eye Subaru?
No, 2013 was the Stink Eye.
Stink Eye. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah. Cool looking car. I like that car. I miss the car.
That actually had a really good exhaust note, in my opinion.
Yeah, it
for
was
a 4-cylinder.
It was subtle. 4-cylinder turbo.
Boxer engine.
It had the boxer engine. It was a good note. It wasn't loud enough in my opinion, and neither is the Mustang. So my future mods on the Mustang are going to be some of my favorites.
I mean, you basically have an obligation to the Mustang community to do a full straight pipe exhaust that ruins the entire community's sound experience.
Again, yeah, I would love to go.
Wait,
balls
why
to
would
the
that
walls.
ruin their sound experience?
I don't know if you've heard. Is it? It's got to be a straight pipe that.
Like a glass pack.
I don't know. The new.
I feel like
the new Mustang GTs, anything V8 that gets like I want to say it's a straight pipe, but I'm not positive on that. That a lot of the youths are putting on them. Man, they just scream. They are so loud, and yeah, they're a good note from about 6,000 yards, but like they are so loud, and.
You would have liked my my C5 because that was
LS though, different sound.
Yeah,
different sound.
A little different sound.
They don't bark like a coyote does.
It was high flow cats to straight pipe. So
and when it got warmed,
LS,
it was loud.
LS.
It is
it's
an
a
LS.
GM sound.
It
It's
was
not
good.
a Ford sound.
It was good. And when you were
good.
behind him, fuck, I flubbed my word. What happens now?
You have to finish your drink.
Oh, thank God. Good thing I didn't start the new one.
All right, so I think Ford's V8 has a decent sound. I think it's
got
a lot of bark though.
The Coyote's
it's a
good.
lot of bark. I think
It's a lot of car.
Yeah,
It's got a good rumble.
it's all right. I think the GM V8 is one of the better sounding,
Really?
one of the better sounding V8s out there.
Really?
And the reason and it's $1 per sound thing for me.
I gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Ferrari, whatever, some import something or another. They probably you can get better notes out of other engine types for sure. But that like GM V8, I think they've got.
Well,
they've got
LS,
just a classic sound.
LS and LTs with cams, like what I have, they just sound very good.
You can get a good rumble out of them with a cam.
Yeah,
Definitely with a cam.
You know what? I've always wondered if somebody has ever changed out the cams in a Coyote to something pretty aggressive and tried to get something lopey out of a Coyote. I wonder if anybody's tried that.
I'm sure
They
somebody's
just
tried
bark
it.
so hard. The Coyotes bark.
The Coyotes
it's expensive
it's
because
just-
you're doing 4 cams instead of 1.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
it's a bulletproof engine. I don't think anybody dares open it up.
I'm sure there are a lot of people that do
Well,
that.
you just doubted that anybody did the cams.
Boost. You need boost. Lots of boost.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, but I feel
think
like
a Whipple. A Whipple on your Mustang would be awesome.
yeah, I feel like if people
You need
open
turbos,
up,
you need Whipple.
yeah, if somebody opens up the Ford V8, they typically change out the components for forged components and then they slap a big supercharger on it.
Yeah.
I don't think they would change out the cams necessarily because if you cam it too aggressively with a supercharger, you're looking at
Sure.
potential issues.
Yeah.
It's like very short life of your engine. There are people that do it is actually somewhat popular to do supercharge and cam on the LS engines.
Okay.
But when people do that, they have to realize that it's a ticking time bomb almost.
It's life. It's engine life.
Its life is going to be short.
The LS engine, what it's really good at is being a low buck, moderate horsepower, reliable combination, right? Like for the $1, I think the LS platform, right? And there's a reason everybody sticks them in everything. And I'm guilty of this too. For the $1, the absolute hardest to beat $1 per horsepower.
Yeah, that's why it's so popular. Is because the money to horsepower is so good.
The money to
and
horsepower,
the reliability is at least
reliability
decent. If the reliability were trash, then people wouldn't do it.
Yep.
And I'm sure there might be some engines that are out there that like $1 per horsepower is pretty good, but they're not popular because they're garbage.
Yeah.
But the LS is at least
and the
reliable.
aftermarket has to grab onto it to support it, right? Because if there's no aftermarket on the Ferrari V8 that they happen to make 10 of that you can find on the used market, one for $200 because whatever, and there's no aftermarket for it. You can't stick it in anything, right? So it doesn't do you any good.
Yeah.
But like the LSs, there's such an aftermarket for them. You can put them in anything. You can put them in literally anything. And for like everything's like $100, right? Like you need a water pump. Oh, you got 1,500 choices, and they're all $100.
Yeah.
You need.
Yeah, I mean they've been there in so many
X,
vehicles.
Y, and Z, right?
Yeah, that's nice. Nice part of it.
I'm biased though. I've recently done an LS swap to something ridiculous. So
yeah.
Before you get into that, we were swapping stories about our first cars earlier. This comment says my first car was a straight I did read that right. Was with straight pipes, with glass packs on a 400 cubic inch big block. It was glorious.
That sounds.
Do you guys have any experience with older engines like that, like a big block or
a little bit on a Chevy 350? A little bit on a Chevy 350.
Technically a small block?
It'd be a small block Chevy, yeah.
Okay.
And not enough to be like an expert in it by any means.
Gotcha. I don't think I have any.
More so in marine applications, but
which we'll lead into.
Yeah.
Yeah, the A. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to point out the A. I thought I was going cross-eyed reading it. I'm typically bad at reading and bad at stumbling over my words, so that was on me. It's all right.
Did we go over your favorite mod project? Is that what we're getting to?
Sure.
Your favorite?
Sure.
Yeah.
So my favorite mod project, I've got a couple decent ones that over the years that are not necessarily good projects, but interesting.
Satisfying to you.
Satisfying to me, but my favorite one that I've ever done is I took an old 1970s aluminum Starcraft. It started life as an inboard-outboard boat, and I swapped an LS into it.
I'm going to have to pause you. Yep. Since I know nothing about boats or marine anything, what does inboard-outboard mean?
So that would be... All right, so there's really, let's say, 3 popular forms of propelling a boat, right?
Okay.
With an engine, right? There's plenty of others, sure, but the 3 popular ones for a medium-sized boat that you'd go tool around on the lake. There's an outboard, which is what it is. It's an outboard, right? So you got a engine strapped to the back. That's the classic, like. There's a head on the engine and a leg sticking down into the water that runs, right? And any like trolling motor kind of fits into any. Now they make them to whatever horsepower you want, just about. But then there's inboard outboard, which is you have an engine. Your engine is inside the boat, but the drive system is on the back of the boat, and it's on the They call it the transom. It's on the back of the boat, so you have a leg sticking down into the water that they call an outdrive, with props spinning.
Okay.
Then there's like your under the boat drive systems, which would be like what you see a lot on big ships and wakeboard boats, and where they're turning a propeller under the lake or under the boat itself. There's a shaft going down. It's
usually
not the same. It's
more horizontal.
More horizontal, yeah, kind of angled down underneath the boat, right?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking
about.
Yep,
and that would be it a little bit different than like what an inboard outboard would be. But then there's jet drive, and a jet drive is like what's in a jet ski. They make them all. I mean, they make them big enough for ships. They make them in all different sizes, but essentially they call it an impeller, but if you think about a propeller like on the back of a boat, it's that, but it's inside of a tube, and it's sucking water from underneath the boat, and it's shooting out the back, and that water shooting out the back is what's actually propelling you, not the propeller grip in the water.
Okay.
So that water stream is shooting out the back is what's really propelling you, and in a lot of ways the boat is sucking itself through the water instead of pushing itself through the water, because that water you're pulling in through the bottom is helping propel you. So the boat that I got started life as an inboard outboard, where had the legs sticking out the back, and I took that out. It had that one had, what was it? It was a Ford engine. It was I'm forgetting
Coyote.
what it was now. It was not a coyote.
Was it a coyote?
But it weighed about as much as about 13 coyotes put together. But anyways, I took that out of it, and it was some small block Ford. But I took that out of it, and then I swapped in a jet drive out of like a jet boat from the 70s, 80s, or 90s, and then I put a LS engine in it. Dang. So I took an LS out of a Silverado and I put it in that, right? So the thing is, when you swap an LS into anything, it kind of comes down to a couple key things you got to figure out, right? Like you got to figure out an ECU, an exhaust, and then how you're coupling it to whatever it is you're driving, right? The fueling system's pretty straightforward. Intakes, you've got about 1 million options with whether you do a Corvette intake or a truck intake or whatever. You can put just about any of them on there. All the accessories, you've got about 1 billion choices on what you can do. Like you can mix and match whatever you want pretty easily. But in my case, it came down to, okay, I need something to control it, right? Because I'm not running a car. I don't have a transmission. It's an engine coupled directly to the drive. I have no transmission, right? Yeah. So I don't have a transmission. The control system for the engine doesn't know anything about what it's in. So I can't just run a car ECU easily, right? You can have them reflashed so that they don't need transmission stuff and basically run as a standalone. They call it a standalone ECU, where it's just running the engine, right? It's kind of like if you had an LS with a manual transmission with no intelligence on the transmission, right? Because your transmission in a manual transmission basically isn't coupled to the engine doesn't know what the transmission's doing. You're telling it everything. It's a very analog setup, right? So in my case, I needed to run a standalone ECU to be able to run the engine, and so I have it's just a 4.8 liter. It's not a big LS by any means, but iron block, aluminum heads, LS, right? Pulled out of a truck. I think I paid like $400 for the engine.
Oh wow!
It had like 100,000 miles on it coming out of the truck. I think I paid $400 from it, and the guy, I didn't even have to pull it. It already was pulled. Right, with all the stuff, like with all the accessories, it came with the ECU, everything. So I did a plug and play ECU from a company called Aces EFI, and so I plugged this thing in and like plug in my gas tank to it and a couple other little things that you need just to support an engine run, a battery, little things.
Sure.
Literally turn the key and the thing fires right up, right? Like plug and play ECU from the internet, like you order this thing, I think it was like $1,000, and you can tune it all you want. You can run boost. You can do all this crazy stuff with it. But what the selling feature for me is it self-tunes. I don't know anything about tuning an engine, right?
Sure.
That laptop and an engine, that's foreign to me. So I plug it in, fire it up, and it starts self-learning, like, in the water, right? So I'm idling through the marina, and it's literally like self-learning,
sure,
right?
Oh, that's cool.
So I don't have enough hours on it for it to be done learning yet, but like as I'm idling and running through the marina, you can feel it. Like it goes richer, it leans it out, it richens it up, and it kind of goes through the process of figuring out, like, at this load level, I need to run this fuel ratio and I need to put this air in, this fuel in to get to the right ratios and stuff. It's really cool, like the way that it works. But so it's essentially a 22-foot long jet ski is really kind of what it is, because I got a huge jet stream stick, that shoots out the back.
Goes right through it. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And it's kind of neat, but it's by far the most intense project I've ever done, because it's an engine swap, it's a drive swap, it's everything.
It's putting an engine in a boat that shouldn't be in a boat.
It definitely shouldn't be in a boat. And the hardest part, by far the hardest part of the project, was the exhaust system.
Really?
Because the exhaust system in a boat is water cooled. So, like, if you think about a boat, it's under load all the time, right? So, like, in a car, you're on, like, let's say you do a hard pull, right? You do a hard pull, your manifold might get to the point where it's like glowing red hot, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But you're done after that pull, and then it kind of all cools back down, and you've got airflow to that's going over your exhaust manifolds and stuff to cool it back down. So it's not a big issue that you have like 3 or 4 seconds or 10 seconds of like a lot of heat load from that exhaust stream. But in a boat, it's like doing a pull, but all the time.
Really?
Like you never let up because it's under load the whole time.
Okay.
Right. So that water that you're pushing against, that's load. Just like doing a drag race pull on a car would be. So you've got this heat, and you don't have the airflow because the engine's in the back. It's in a compartment. You have no airflow there, right? So you have no way of getting the exhaust cooled down. So in a boat, what you do, or what most boats have, is they run water. It's basically a exhaust pipe within another tube, right?
Yeah.
So and then you run the exhaust under the water. So I've got like 3 feet of exhaust that's straight pipe. But it's straight pipes under the water, and the water's your muffler.
Oh, okay.
So it rumbles like a Corvette. It absolutely rumbles like a Corvette. And then, but it's a little bit muffled by just the water, right? It's not quiet. I'm not going to go as far as to say quiet.
No. I would imagine as you blow bubbles with it, too, you can hear it
you definitely
echo
can.
through the water.
You definitely can, yeah. It's not silent, I would say. It's a Corvette with like a nice exhaust on it, right? Just in the water.
Sounds very intrigued.
It's
so we should do this podcast with one of our phones live on the boat this
there
summer.
You go. So you can go buy an exhaust that's been made for an LS to go in a marine application, but it's really expensive, right? So the cheapest one I think is like $3,000. Okay. And it kind of sort of got me to where I needed to be, but it's not done. Like it's only about halfway, so I still would have to finish it out. Well, the one that I really needed was like I don't know $6,000 or $8,000 or something, and it still didn't get me like everything I needed out of it. So eventually, I'm like, all right, I guess I'm gonna learn how to TIG weld, and I'm gonna start TIG welding stainless together and figuring out how to weld and figuring out how to do it. So I ended up TIG welding a whole stainless exhaust together. It's a tube within a tube out of a Chinese set of headers that I had bought like on eBay, right? And then so I bought a stainless set of headers and just cut it apart and started using that, and then ended up actually throwing away most of it.
Oh, really?
And just keeping like a little piece of it and starting over. And then now I've got a full stainless header set going out the back of the boat, and then it goes out and down into the water to muffle it a little bit. But it's a straight pipe. It's a straight pipe exhaust. And then my intake, because I don't have all the emissions crap and some of the other stuff, it's about as free as like an LS can flow, because I've got only 3 feet of exhaust pipe and I've got an open air intake. It's cold air intake or whatever, and it runs okay, but it makes all the right Corvette sounds. Is the most important part. It doesn't matter how fast it actually is.
Sam over there.
Because wide open throttle, like the hull is terrible for my application, so it only goes like, in a boat 40 miles an hour is kind of normal. It's sort of normal, right?
The only thing that you don't get that I get is the afterfire.
Yeah, I don't get that unless the boat's out of the water.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I do throw rooster tails. So
there's that.
The jet I can angle up and
you
throw
can
big
move it.
Rooster tails. Okay. Yeah.
I bet everybody on the beach just loves it when you do that.
That's the whole point of it, is yeah.
Clay,
so I'm still working on it, but
Clay suggests that if we do a live stream from the boat, we call it Cantina Harbor Podcast.
More like Can't Have a Harbor Podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was your favorite mod.
That's my favorite mod.
Cool.
That's my favorite mod I've ever done, because
you're completely done with that one?
No. We're like halfway.
You're still
So
working
I'm in the water, I'm running, I'm floating, right?
Yeah.
But like I've got a driver and a passenger seat for an interior, and that's it.
Sure.
It's an aluminum boat that I'm making a full like hard top for. Okay. It's like a windshield out of a semi truck. Like there's a lot of pieces and parts from different things that have to go into this. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to like explain it. You kind of got to see it, but I'm working on the hard top now for it so that I got a heater out of an old truck that I put in it so I can run it like in colder weather. And
nice.
I use the automotive water pump. That's like a normal water pump from a Corvette. And I'm running a Corvette water pump so that I can run all the heater stuff comes off of the water pump. So it does all the thermostat stuff and the heater stuff off of that. The only difference is the cooling. I don't have a radiator. So like in a car, you have a radiator that's doing a air to water heat exchange. I don't have the luxury of doing that because I have no air, right? It's all enclosed and too tight. So
where do you pick up the air from on the intake?
So
in a boat,
the air, it depends on the boat. In my application, I'm sucking it in from behind the boat.
From behind
the boat.
But you have to have it high enough that you're not going to get water in the intake, right?
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Does that usually do they always try to get it as high as they can possibly get it?
Usually. Okay. Usually. It depends on the application. A lot of boats you'll see like vents on the side and stuff. But yeah, getting water in, it's not that big of a deal as long as you're up at the upper sides of the hull, or the upper portions of the hull.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And then so but I don't have a radiator, so to cool the engine, I have to run there's two ways you can do it. You can either run the raw lake water through the engine, which is kind of the old school way of doing it. But the problem is with a smaller engine, you never get heat into it because the lake water is so cold, and it flows through the block so fast, you never get heat into your engine. So you really abuse an engine doing that,
it's
right?
not running efficiently.
Right. So what I've done is I'm using, instead of a radiator, I have a water-to-water heat exchanger. So lake water comes in through the jet. The jet pressurizes water, shoots it through the heat exchanger, which does the coolant to water heat exchange, and then the thermostat in the engine can use that.
So once it heats up, then it can start using it.
And you see it, man. Like when that coolant starts running through the heat exchanger, it drops quick in temperature. It really needs that.
Yeah, I can imagine that because just from an engineering perspective, you're using convection at really high speeds on your fluids. That's the thing, is you got really high speeds on a cold fluid moving past another fluid. That's amazing from a heat transfer perspective.
Yep, sure. It's as good. It's way better than a radiator in a car because you don't have the air to water thing to deal with, because air is terrible. In the grand scheme of things, air is pretty terrible
compared
from a heat
to
exchange
a lot of
standpoint.
other things.
Yeah, compared to a real fluid like a liquid water or something. I get air as a fluid. Thank you very much. But the
air can be fluid if it's at the right temperature.
Yeah, but so you're sucking lake water in, in our case in Lake Michigan, you may be sucking lake water in on the warmest of days in the high 60s, low 70s. Yeah. And then you're exchanging to your coolant temperature in 195 or whatever it is. And it definitely moderates it real nice. And then the wastewater that goes through there, I dump into the exhaust system and it pushes it out through the exhaust in that chamber. So water cools exhaust. So at wide open throttle, I could put my hand on the exhaust and it's just lukewarm. So it's kind of like a wild setup, right?
Sure,
make it work. But it does. It works. And it's pretty crazy. I'm using a standalone ECU out of a car. It doesn't know anything about what it's in.
Yeah.
Other than that, it needs to run this engine. It just thinks it's under load all the time.
Yeah, right.
And
it's a road tripper.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but cool. It makes all the right Corvette sounds though, because
that's awesome. The important part.
That's really the important part.
Yeah.
Did you already mention your favorite? Was Brad the last one, or did you?
Yes, with the engine.
Okay,
I'd say the only problem with that whole the dog's here. The only problem with that one was that we ended up breaking on the last day, the day before, or maybe 2 days before it was set to go to the dyno. We ended up breaking the slave cylinder for the clutch. and then I couldn't get one in fast enough.
Were you able to hard shift it?
No, couldn't do anything.
Oh.
So I had to cancel that dyno day.
That
schedule a new one. Yeah, and then I had to wait for a part to arrive and put that in. So that was rough. That sucked, but I got through it. That was the only issue with that. Otherwise, it was a pretty good time.
So did you hire a tuner then to sit down and tune your
Yes.
Your new
I hired someone to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to go. I don't know anything about tuning. The only reason I'm in it is because the ECU says it can do it itself, and so far it runs. So I'm just letting it. It's like, okay, all right, you know more than me. You can go after it, you know?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I don't know enough about that, and I'm not going to waste my time trying to learn it. So
that's an art. Yeah. That's an absolute art.
Yeah. Well, it ended up making 450 horsepower to the wheels. So
that's pretty good.
It's pretty
well,
good.
when you're done with your, like, let's say you wrap your car around a tree. I got a boat you can put that in.
Yeah.
Because I'm only making like maybe 300 horsepower with the 4.8 would be my guess. Like in a best case scenario. I think on its best day in a Silverado, it could do like 280.
Well, boats don't have as much drivetrain losses. So
I don't have the drivetrain losses, but I'm under load all the time. So like that jet, there's a lot of loss just in slippage, and I'm under load all the time. So like it's really fighting from an efficiency standpoint just to like get up to RPM and stuff like that. And then, it's not very efficient. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's efficient. I'm probably my best fuel mileage that I'll ever get out of things probably 2.
Yeah, no.
Right. So
you're either on it or you're on idle.
It's a miles per gallon situation.
Yes.
We all can
There's no
understand
cruising for like fun. It's saving grace though, is it can whip donuts like a jet ski can. So at 23 feet long or whatever this thing is, it can whip donuts like a jet ski. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
It's unique.
It sounds like we're going for a ride this summer at some point.
Sure. There's probably not going to be an interior in it yet. So we're going to be on lawn chairs.
Okay, I'm down. It's not fun if
there's no radio in it yet. There's nothing. There's no luxuries.
It's good. There's no fun involved if it's not slightly dangerous.
My gauge cluster is a like handheld plug into the ECU thing, pull up the laptop and look at the gauges, right? And just hope it's good.
But it works.
But it sort of works.
It works.
Yeah.
Just need a cooler. As long as you pack a cooler, how bad can it be?
Yep. Yeah, you gotta have it. But
all right, we got a pretty lengthy topic at the end here. We wanted to. Oh boy, it's got to wrap it. The light is really bright over there.
That new Glarus.
Here, I'll give you.
Got to rep
show
that.
It better on that camera.
Yeah, there we go. Got to rep that new Glarus there. It's good stuff.
Sam's got 2 women. I feel like there's a joke that could be made there, but I'm not going to go there. So, the last topic that we wanted to touch on in this episode is something maybe that's a little bit more mainstream. Maybe a lot more people have an opinion on it, but there's been a lot of cool things happening in the EV market. Electric vehicles are becoming more of a hot topic. So really, you have this struggle. You have this debate of whether you want to stick with an internal combustion engine, which is your typical car, or do you want to go to an electric car, a fully electric, where you have to plug it in and charge it and take away from our power grid and all that happy jazz. Or maybe you can get a hybrid, something in the middle, use a little bit of both. Maybe it's a little efficient in terms of recharging itself. Or there are other options.
Hydrogen or steam.
Or hydrogen or
I know nothing about the hydrogen.
I'm intrigued by that. I've always been intrigued by that. The hydrogen side is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a reason why it hasn't taken off.
Yeah.
But you know what I get sick of is those those posts where people are like, the government's trying to keep this super awesome energy, hydrogen, super efficient from taking off, and they're killing the people that are whatever.
Right.
It's ridiculous. No, there are actual legitimate engineering challenges for using hydrogen as a fuel source.
The compression of it and realistic the realistic transfer of that as a fluid or a gas, however you want to transfer it, is genuinely a challenge.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, the biggest challenge is holding it.
Holding it is tough
because you have to.
The materials required.
You have to hold it in a tank that's under a tremendous amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And then what happens if you get into an accident and something happens to the tank?
Suddenly you're a hydrogen bomb.
Yeah, it could not be pretty. I don't
think that is as, like, if you're in an accident, right, and you're in a vehicle that has hydrogen tanks at immense pressures, let's say probably somewhere between 3,500 psi and maybe the upper limit would be like 6,000 psi of a reasonable tank, right? Yeah. You're up there. You're up there in pressure, but you can release that in an accident situation in a somewhat safe way, right? Like, so there's tanks designed to split and release that, and it's as a gas then at that point. Mm-hmm. I think what's tough about hydrogen, and I love hydrogen as a concept, but in reality I think it's almost impossible right now, is hydrogen as like in practice, you still have to transfer from whatever the holding device is to whatever your holding device is, and that transfer has to be done under pressure, and sometimes involves like cryogenic type temperatures. Like, to ask the common man to do a transfer of this insanely compressed liquid or gas, whatever it's being transferred as, is almost out of the common man's technical capabilities, right? So like, I deal with cryogenics at work and stuff, and in as far as like CO2 and nitrogen, which are more mainstream cryogenics, and to ask normal people to work with those types of things is typically out of their skill set.
Okay.
Right? I mean, so then you do that in a transportation application where you've got literally anybody and everybody, and it's a high technical involved device just to be able to transfer the stuff to your vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's where it becomes unrealistic.
You see some people struggling to put gas in their
right?
tank
let
these
alone
days, let alone
3,000 PSI.
Transferring a hydrogen bomb.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely explosive, right? Like, we're not going to take that away from it. It's still a combustible.
This is the same shit that blew up Nagasaki.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, yeah.
Have you been in a Tesla, though? Have you been in a Tesla? That's like a decent performance.
I don't think I've only ridden in our friend's electric vehicle, but I haven't
Ionic.
Ionic.
So
I haven't been in a Tesla.
I have driven every Tesla out there. However, it's only in my side gig position of valeting.
As valet.
So I have never gone over like 25 miles an hour in a Tesla.
Right. So a guy I work with has I don't know, I think it's a Model 3 maybe.
Okay.
Performance, dual motor, blah, 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 big battery, something or another, right? And what I will say about it, it is neck-breaking fast.
That's what I've heard.
Like, I'm not going to take that away from it, but it is not the whole experience. You need to look at it as though it's a different experience, right? You're getting in it, and it's golf cart fun. It's not Corvette fun. They're different they're like different leagues, right?
Okay.
And like, if you go into it thinking it's going to be a Corvette, you're going to be disappointed.
Sure.
Even though it's
I don't know.
stupid fast.
There's some people who have Teslas at the track, and
they're fast.
They do pretty good.
They're definitely fast, but it's a whole different experience. It's a whole different experience because, like, in the Corvette, right, you're changing gears. There's noise. There's more feeling to it, right? Like, there's this, like, more raw experience of mechanical going on that, I get, I'm not the first person to say this, but it is definitely reality.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that mechanical, raw experience is, like, I'm burning dinosaurs to move thing. Like, there's a lot more there in that experience for that like, enthusiast.
Sure.
Whereas, like, in the Tesla market, or let's just say electric vehicles, performance-based electric vehicles, they're fast. They're probably faster. And in a lot of cases, they definitely are faster, right?
Sure.
They grip hard. They can go around corners even though they weigh 1,000,000 pounds. But it's rubber band power. It's quiet. It's it's like driving it's like a golf cart, man.
Yeah,
it's like a rubber bandy feel to it, and it's just a different driving experience.
Sure.
And I don't know if I'm buying it as a replacement. Jay Leno had a quote that he said on some podcast or some TV show, whatever it was he was in, and he says we need electric cars and Priuses so that we can have internal combustion engines and sports cars for the enthusiasts. And,
right.
He related it to horses back in the day, where he said, way in 1900, before cars became mainstream, in 1900 the horse was abused, run. It was like basically a tortured animal because it was a necessity of like transportation. Then as soon as cars came around, the horse became for the enthusiasts and became appreciated and honored, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's kind of what we probably have coming for us here, is like, I don't see the internal combustion thing going away. I don't think it's a one or the other. I think it's a like, okay, this is the best model for this application. Like in an Amazon delivery car, the electric car might make a lot of sense because it drives 60 miles a day, every day. Noticeable,
predictable.
Predictable. Mm-hmm. Like that might be the right application for that energy source, right?
Sure.
But like,
I think what you're trying to say is that the internal combustion engine won't be going away.
I don't think it's going away,
and I would agree with that.
And maybe what we burn will change, but I don't think that's going away.
Sure,
right? And if I have to
it'll probably
choose,
become
like,
more expensive.
Probably. And I could see us doing like we're burning in let's say 50 years from now, right? We might be burning a more synthetic fuel that's more of a lab grown thing or lab produced thing than what our current petroleum based.
I mean, you almost have to. We're going in a trend in which depending on how you want to look at it, inevitably, and it could be 10 years, it could be 1,000 years, we're gonna run out of the shit.
Probably, yeah.
Well, inevitably. Someday. I don't know when that day is. Nobody knows when that day is.
Can you pump it faster than it can produce, right?
Exactly, yeah. Before we get too thick on the weeds on that, here's a food for thought. Probably directed more towards you, Brad. Going back to the cryogenics, wouldn't the preferred method of transfer for the hydrogen be more of a canister swap kind of thing? Similar to what they do for a battery pack swap in Asia?
Ooh, interesting. So, maybe.
So I'm picturing like a large CO2 canister.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it sort of becomes that, right?
Yeah, you're changing out like a canister of sorts, like you're reloading your paintball gun.
Yep. Maybe.
I
know that I'm not.
There's $1 million idea to be had there.
I'm definitely not the smartest person on that topic, but I do know that the hydrogen cars that are out there, they're filling the tanks in the cars, and I think that has a lot to do more with the safety of the canisters, because the canisters are designed to, like when you get in a wreck, they're designed to break in a non-explosive way, right? So they're releasing the gas in a collision. It's a composite tank of some sort that's designed to rupture, not explode. Right. So it's a large tank. I mean, that tank is a majority of the space of the car, because your energy density, I don't think, is there, at least at the transportation.
Well, even with batteries, they're starting off today huge. One day maybe they'll be more compact, but they're massive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of tank of hydrogen just to get down the road, right? Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting topic. Now,
think of the waste too.
You can transfer the gas just like you can with like a gasoline car with hydrogen. The problem is you have to do it under pressure. So you've got this like transportation connection system that's a lot more intense. It's a lot more intense, and you've got all this pressure change, so there's temperature there. So they tend to freeze up and ice up, and next thing you know, your pumping system doesn't work because it's iced up and you can't connect it to the next vehicle.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's safe to say that hydrogen has a ways to go to overcome the current engineering challenge.
They haven't even scratched the surface on EV vehicles, let alone new technology like hydrogen.
Yeah, I do think there is a long way to go with with EVs yet.
There is.
I think there's a lot they can still do.
Absolutely.
I'm personally, not that I've had any of these vehicles, but just from being an engineer and studying this stuff, I think hybrid technology is going to be the future of the next 10 to 20 years.
Sure.
Especially with diesel
probably.
engines,
More
I think
short-term,
is
yeah.
going to be...
I'm surprised we haven't done more with that.
Yeah. I think that's... in my mind, that seems where the future is going to go, at least in the near future. Next
It's at least
10 to 20 years will
sustainable
be...
in its current state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read if you're ready to move on just a little bit, I did find an interesting topic that we can close out on. How much time you guys got left?
I'm running low.
You're running low?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll close it out then just with this fun factoid here that there's a record sales in 2024 with EV vehicles. You know how many were sold in 2024? This is all of EV.
10,000. Probably 100.
Just 10,000? Oh, no, it's got to be way
It's gotta be
more.
like 100.
Massively small.
I bet you
Yeah.
it's... Wait, you're talking about just
EVs.
EV vehicles, right?
Yes,
How many
just
EV
wrapping up. Or I'm
How many-
just EV vehicles. I'm saying what I'm typing.
Is it less than a million?
I'd say it's probably close to 4 to 6 million. Really? More? Wow.
Oh, sorry. Million? No, not quite that much.
No, not a million.
That's way overstated.
Well, I mean, is this worldwide or just United States?
U.S.
Oh, just U.S. Okay.
Just US.
If it were just U.S., let's see. There's like 360 million people in the U.S. Everybody gets a car every 10 years. Say
He's really going into
60% are getting an EV vehicle.
Did you say 60% are getting an EV?
I bet it's the opposite.
That's a lot.
Or EV or hybrid. I bet you close to 50% or maybe even more.
If it's a hybrid, I'd agree.
EV or hybrid.
Oh.
Getting some sort of electric technology vehicle,
Interesting.
I'd imagine.
Ooh.
At least nowadays. What does that come out to? Yeah, that's probably just a little under a million. Probably
Tell me the number, Colin.
800,000, something like that.
Tell me the number, Colin.
In 2024, they sold 1.3 million units,
Okay.
which is definitely an uptick. That is a 7.3% increase.
I think what's tough about EVs is like I don't want to pretend they're green, right?
No, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
We
I
could talk for another hour about
Yeah.
how they're not green. They're not what people think. The waste on these is going to be way more significant than.
Yeah.
I think that was a conversation to have like 4 years ago, but I think now it's
Seems like it's coming.
it's like
around.
beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
Is that people have
Yeah.
finally realized that it's...
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
think
it
I don't
can
think a
be.
whole lot of people have realized, unfortunately.
I think it can be
The general population might be.
like more better for the environment as long as the car is used for a long time. Like if it's well taken care of, it lasts you a long time. Eventually, it hits a point where it does become...
I think it's just a different type
more
of
green.
emission, right? Like,
Yeah.
it kind of comes down to like, what's your definition of pollution, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay,
yeah,
if I'm
that's true.
digging all these minerals out of the earth and rare earth and all these other things,
Or
like,
even
is that pollution?
yeah, or even
versus,
pollution coming from the cars.
versus an emission of burning a fossil fuel, for
Yeah.
example.
I think how the environmental engineers usually track it now is by how much carbon is released into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's typically how they're
Yeah,
gauging it now.
yeah. There's, yeah.
We could really get into
We
the
could
weeds
really
We could get
the
into
weeds on
this.
that,
We
yeah.
don't have time for that.
We're
So,
running pretty low on time here, so perhaps we need to have another episode with strictly this debate coming back: internal combustion engines versus EVs versus hydrogen
we'll have to
versus
have another,
whatever else.
Yeah, we'll have to have another episode.
I think it almost justifies a full episode in
Alright,
and of
okay.
itself.
All right, quick before we sign off. you have 1 minute to talk about what your future plans are for whatever vehicle or boat, car, plane, whatever you got.
Yeah.
I don't know. Chat, tell us what your future plans are for your vehicles that you have.
Yeah.
And we'll go at it one time. Colin, you can start.
Okay. I am really excited for my Mustang this year. I'm gonna see about selling my personal truck because it just doesn't get driven anymore now that I have my company truck. So with that cash, I might look at some coilover suspension. I will look at possibly making the muffler louder, although I don't think I'll get as far as headers. I want headers, but our county does not allow for that. So I'd have to...
There's a way around that.
Not legally, Sam.
There's a gray area.
You call it a gray area. And maybe some other aesthetic things, but I think getting the Mustang sharp for this summer is something I'm tackling.
Okay.
Brad?
So my plans for vehicles this summer is, well, I'm going to continue working on my boat, but yeah, same vehicle, more progress.
Sure.
I've recently built a boat house for it, so down by the lake, so it's getting that whole like system to work together,
yes,
if you will.
Absolutely.
Which there's a lot to that, but
okay, more
to come. And that thing needs boost, bad, but I'm not smart enough to put boost on it.
We can help you. Put turbo here.
Full water jacketed turbo system.
Ooh.
Is intense, man. Just bolting the turbo up is an art in and of itself.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Sam?
Okay. And then for me, for the Corvette, I have several things that I want to do. It's just a matter of saving up the money for it. But the first is to install an oil cooler because my oil temperatures were reaching like 295. Which the oil, by the way, it starts breaking down around 260 degrees. So it gets hot enough to start breaking the oil down on the track days. So I need a cooler for those track days to keep the oil temps under control. The other thing is I got a big brake kit in the front of the car. And I'd like to do another kit in the rear of the car. And... what was the other thing? Oh, I need some new tires.
Ooh, nice.
So that's
I'm in that same
not
boat.
much of a mod, but
I forgot to add that. Yeah,
that's
definitely new tires.
Just another thing
There
that's
you go.
needed for the car. The tires actually have quite a bit of tread left on them.
They're just hardened up.
They're hardened up. They got a lot of heat cycles on them, so they don't grip so well.
Right.
So that's where I'm at.
All right. Perfect. Well, sorry to cut you guys off this quickly, but we need to get going. We're over on our allotted time here, but thank you very much for watching. For those of you who are left and may have watched the entire episode all the way through, thank you very much. You are the ones we want around. We need more of your friends, though. Ask them to watch us, share our name, get us out there. Follow us on Twitch here. This is where the live streams happen. Follow us on YouTube. You can watch this rerun tomorrow. As well as Facebook for all the latest news that we might put out, or if any changes happen with episodes. We try and stick to an every other week on Thursday night now. We're doing every other Thursday night for the live stream.
For the time being.
For the time being.
We might change it up.
Yeah, it might toggle back and forth between Thursday and Friday, but I think Thursdays are heading more into spring and summer. It might be more safe to do Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursdays are probably the safest day, for sure.
All right, and Magnolia the dog here wishes you a good night as she exits the stage. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you very much for joining.
Goodbye, thank you.